What's going on, guys? We are Tottenham TV here, back again for another Good Morning Tottenham. Hope you guys are all doing well. Hope you're having a good morning. It was a good game last night. Spurs played Chelsea at Stamford Bridge in the Mine series. It finished 2-2 in what was a good fight back for Tottenham after going 2 goals down. Hopefully, Nuno is starting to get into his players and they're starting to learn how he wants them to play. It's not just me. My brother will be joining me in due course, but you're going to have to contend with just my face for the time being, for the first few minutes of the show. Don't forget, we are taking calls today, so a link is in the community section for all our members, so go to the community section and you can call in and have your say on any of the topics we speak about today, or anything in general you want to talk about Spurs related. Call in and you can give your opinions. Also, don't forget to tag us on Twitter at WeAreTottenhamTV for any content or opinions you want us to react to, and we can react to it live on the show. Also, don't forget to send in your comments and your super chats. Obviously, we're getting a lot of comments through, so it's not easy to look at every single live chat comment, but if you do send it in a super chat, it will stick out to us and we'll be able to react to it live on the show. Let's bring on my brother as well now.
Good morning, Tottenham. How's everyone going this morning? How is everyone going? Last night against Chelsea, I thought we were really bad, man, in that first half. But I think that people are kind of forgetting that it was more or less Chelsea's first team out there last night, and there was a lot of missing players there for Tottenham yesterday. Yeah, you got to think of no Ndombele, no Lo Celso, no Romero now. We'll get into that in a minute. No Romero. The centre-back partnership of Tanganga, and it was Tanganga and Dyer. And yeah, you think I think the front four is going to be the front four that starts against City, but I think the rest of the team, there's still going to be a lot of movement. So you don't want to read too much into it, but on the flip side, you want to see how we're going to play against, even if it gets a top team. And it just seemed like we were completely outclassed in that first half in terms of just positionally, the way Chelsea moved us around. It was hard to watch at times. It was hard to watch, and that first half really was. But like I said, there were a lot of key players missing for us. And when you're looking at the way that you think we'll set up for the start of the season, you would expect in our strongest team, maybe not from the start of the season, but you'd expect Tanguy Ndombele, Giovanni Lo Celso and Højbjerg to make that middle three. Yeah,
it will remains to be seen whether against Man City they'll be available, because there's only under 2 weeks, just like over a week, 10 days now till the game. So was it 13th? Yeah, was the game. So it's even 8 days.
Yeah, wow.
No, it can't be.
We're playing on the 15th.
So 10 days. 10 days away. So you have to think they should have had at least a few minutes in pre-season if they're going to be ready for that game. So maybe it is unlikely they're going to be involved at this point from the start against Man City. From that point of view, maybe there is going to be a similar team. I think apart from Tanganga, I think it might be a similar team to what we're going to see.
Well, I think you never know, because Tomiyasu could come in. Never know if he needs to quarantine or not, or isolation. You don't know the situation with that. I mean, Romero, they're saying that he could be announced on Sunday, right?
And they're saying it not announced on Sunday, but he could be unveiled to the fans on Sunday.
Okay, so if he's unveiled to the fans on Sunday, I'm guessing that means he doesn't need to go for a quarantine period or anything like that. So, you could more or less see him on first game as well.
I said apart from him.
Oh, apart from Romero.
Apart from Romero, yeah. I think we're going to try our best to get him involved, because I don't think we have the options I think he's one of those players where we got to rely on him to come straight in, unfortunately. As much as it's putting pressure on him, I think we're going to have to hope he's good enough to kind of come straight in.
And I'm not sure about Tanguy Ndombele. I don't think we'll see him in the opening game, but I think we might see a Giovanni Lo Celso.
Yeah, I think it will a lot depend on who plays on Sunday. We'll have to see who... We'll have to say who's involved on Sunday to really ascertain who's going to be involved against Man City from the start. I think Højbjerg obviously got started yesterday 45 minutes. I think he's now going to be back for the game against Man City. Obviously Kane, we'll get into that in a minute.
Didn't look too good yesterday though, not going to lie.
Yeah, he was a bit sluggish. He still needs to get back into the swing of things, I think. Højbjerg, after he had an amazing Euros, got in team of the tournament. Unbelievable tournament he had. But maybe he just needs to settle back in again. We also need to get used to Nuno's training and the fitness training and all that kind of stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if Skip starts against Man City, given that we're probably going to be a bit more pragmatic and maybe we're looking a few more defensive players in the midfield.
Do you think we might go 5 at the back against City, maybe even?
I don't, only because I think we would have done it in a pre-season game if we were going to do that.
Yeah, but no, it might do it on Sunday.
I don't know. I just got a feeling that he's going to concentrate on he's going to concentrate right now on making sure the team gets to play how he wants them to play. And I think, yes, from a results point of view, maybe we could get the result playing 3 at the back. But I think he wants to get all the players up to speed playing his system, and he doesn't want to do too much chopping and changing right now, even though it could be to our detriment against Man City. The most important thing is we know how we're playing in his system, and then once we're used to it, then we can start doing tactical stuff and he can start shifting things around. That's how I think he's going to go. I might be wrong. We might start 3 at the back, but that's my prediction. He's going to completely play 4 at the back up until we get used to the way he plays, and then tactically we can shift things around.
I mean, it does look like that the way it is at the moment, because obviously since every pre-season it has been a 4-3-3 system.
That's how Pochettino used to be.
Yeah, but the thing is, with Nuno, I see him as more of a versatile manager that likes to play different systems, and I think that he might go 5 at the back against City just to throw Pep off a little bit, seeing as it's there for everyone to see that we are gearing up for a 4-3-3 this season. So I think it might even be smart for Nuno to go 5 at the back against Man City, because just to throw them off a bit, and then it's just first game of the season, first game under the Nuno tenure. Then after that, he might start getting teams a bit more used to the 4-3-3 system.
Yeah, he might. That also might be a bit of a possibility. Depends. I don't think he would do that without preparing to do that. So maybe
they could be preparing on the training pitch.
Yeah, maybe we might see. Maybe if we see 3 at the back on Sunday, or even for a bit, if we see 3 at the back, maybe that's something there that you can say like he could be planning for that for Sunday. But I don't know. I just have the feeling he's going to go 4-3-3 again. But I think it would be a smart thing to do. But are we at the level yet where? Because obviously Jose was very, very tactical, but the problem with the way we played under Jose is we never really had a cohesive pattern to play in general games, and that's why sometimes we would struggle against teams sitting back against us, because we didn't have a specific way of playing when we were on the ball and attacking. We were just very, very tactical.
We had a very specific way. Get the ball to Harry Kane and play it in behind the hands.
Yeah, exactly. That's not a way a team plays. That's just very individual. That's what I'm saying. So I think he very much how Pochettino approached it when he first came. He very much played the same way, all throughout his first season,
drill it into them.
Just to drill it in. This is how we're going to play. And then in his second and third seasons, he used to chop and change a bit. Then he used to switch it to 3 at the back and stuff like that. And we were a lot more malleable and flexible. But at the start, he was just wanted to drill it in as much as possible. Even doesn't matter about result, to just drill it in. This is how we're gonna play, and this is the system basically. I feel like Nuno's going to do the same, but But look, if he plays 3 at the back on Sunday. That would be a smart move, but it all depends if you get the result, I guess.
Yeah.
The problem is if he does it on Sunday and we don't get the result, it's kind of like a wasted game, if you know what I mean.
And in terms of what you're saying about Jose, but he kind of gave us, not he, but he was successful against Man City, against this Man City side when he was at Spurs. 2 wins, 2-0 wins at Tottenham Stadium. I mean, you can look at those performances as a blueprint on how to beat Man City potentially.
Yeah, or you could look at the way Pochettino beat Man City a few times with his pressing and see that's also a blueprint. There's a few ways you could do it. Either you press them into oblivion, don't let them play any sort of football, and then you force them into mistakes at the back, which is getting harder and harder to do, or you play super pragmatic and exploit all the space they're going to leave him behind because they've used such a high line. I have a feeling we're going to go the latter just because of the pace we have up front, and we're going to pick our moments to press, but by and large we're going to be quite pragmatic. But he could use the Jose thing as a blueprint, but it's so difficult. And I think if we're going to be looking, I think it's difficult when the whole pre-season, right, Nuno wants Spurs to be more expansive, and he wants Tottenham to be more attacking. That's what the fans want. That's what he's been brought in to do, right? Bring a more expansive style of play. And then on the first game, like, all of a sudden we're going to go super pragmatic and use Jose's blueprint when we haven't been training for that into the season, if you know what I mean. So even though it might be the best thing to get the result on the first day, it's not going to be as conducive if you haven't been going in that direction over the pre-season, and you've been training in a certain way, because you don't do whole of pre-season just for one game. You do it how you're going to play to set yourself up for the season. Mm-hmm. So I think it's difficult to just turn ultra pragmatic for a game and hope it works out in a way or and stuff like that. So that's why I just believe even if it's not the best way to get a result, I believe he's going to just try and implement his methods on the pitch, and then and try and drill it into the players, and then the results will come in a way. I think that's how I think he's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, you can look at it that way, you can look at it the other way. I do think he will go a bit more pragmatic against Man City, potentially with a 5 at the back. But the game is 10 days away, so we've still got a lot of preparation time. 10 days to go till the game. One pre-season left against Arsenal. So it's going to be interesting. It will be interesting to see how we do line up for that Man City game. We might get a few inklings against Arsenal to see how we will line up. But yeah, look, you're right in saying that every pre-season so far has been 4-3-3. That does look like it is going to be the system that we're going to use going into the season. But I just feel maybe against that Man City side, I think maybe Nuno will look at that. If it does go get a bit more pragmatic and we can start off this season with 3 points against Man City, all the good vibes will be coming, and maybe he can give the finger to Harry Kane when. Yeah,
what I'm saying is, like, we're unlikely either whether we go pragmatic or not. We're unlikely to get a result against Man City, right? We think we can probably.
We're getting a result, man. Come on, we can get a result against City.
But I'm saying Man City are big favourites. Mm-hmm. They're likely to win either way.
Yeah.
So if he goes with his system of how he's been training in pre-season, right, even if we lose, at least we've had a game where the players are getting up to speed with the system. If we change the system for one game and we still lose, it's a wasted game. The game's gone by, and we've pretty much wasted those 90 minutes because we've tried a different system to get a result. It hasn't worked, and now we now have to spend more time getting up to speed in competitive football.
I completely get that, but also you got to plan for a game and use the best chances to win the game. And I think the best chances of Spurs to win the game is probably to go a bit more pragmatic.
I know, but I just don't think we're at that level yet, because it's his first game.
Yeah.
So we're not at that level where we can be that's what I'm saying. We're not where we can be super tactical and change our system for his first game. I think we have to go the way he's training us.
We'll see how he goes.
I feel. I feel we have to go the way he's been doing in pre-season to get us up to speed, to set us up for the season.
I think there's many ways you can look at it at the end of the day, and your theory could be right, my theory could be right. We'll see what happens when the game comes about. But we've got some headlines to get through today. The first headline is about Christian Romero, and apparently he will be completing his second part of his medical in Italy today, and then after that he'll be flying to London to complete his move to Tottenham Hotspur. The deal will be €50 million plus €5 million added on in bonuses. So Romero is going to be costing more than Varane and more than Ben White.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's an expensive deal, but I think it's one that we need to get done. We need to get him over the line. I don't think it's more than Ben White. Ben White was £50 million. So,
was it? Okay.
So he's €50 million.
So it's £47 million pounds.
Yeah, so
plus,
it's a bit cheaper than. No, I think that's including. I think €55 million euros.
47
is 47. That's including bonuses. So it's about £43 million plus bonuses.
Right.
So it's £7 million cheaper than Ben White. So that's a positive in that sense. But look, I think it's important we got him through the door. It's important we made sure we got those extra paid those extra few million, even if it meant overspending a tad to get him in, because we clearly believed he's a player. We've scouted him and believed he's the one we've identified that can improve our back line, and he can be one that can make a big difference to our defence. And if that's the case, you make sure you get him in. You don't miss out on him for a few million. You get him through the door, because otherwise it's another case of Tottenham not going for their main target because he's a bit too expensive, and going for second-rate targets. And I'm glad that hopefully it's Paratici's influence that he's got into Levy's ear and said, look, we need this guy, even if it's going to cost an extra few million. This is a guy who's going to take us forward. This is a guy who's going to improve our defence. If you want to see us progress, we need to get in players. We need to start getting in our number one targets. And I think that's what Romero represents, I'm hoping.
And it does feel like this is a Paratici signing, because it was there for all to see. The players that we were being linked with just at the end of last season, before Paratici came in, before Nuno came in, was, our top defensive target was Joachim Andersen for about 20-25 million, you know. And he's gone to Crystal Palace now. Paratici's come in, and we've got, Fabrizio Romano. I don't know if you saw that video he did on Romero about a week ago. The way he was explaining who Romero is and how good he is and blah, 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 it just made me even more excited. He was saying this guy is one of the biggest up-and-coming central defenders around Europe, and he's already a top star around Europe as well. So, I mean, for Spurs to get a signing through the door like this, whilst being in the Conference League, I think it's a massive step in the right direction. But on the flip side of that, he's not enough. He is not enough to revolutionise this defence. We need another centre-back partner with him, and we need a right-back or two if Aurier and Doherty are going to go. If Aurier is just going to go, I still don't think Tomiyasu and Doherty to go into the new season with those two as right-back. I don't think it's strong enough.
Me neither, but I think we're just going to have to accept it.
It's not strong enough, though, for what we're trying to do. If we're going to try and break into the top four, which I think is extremely unlikely this year, Tomiyasu and Doherty won't do that for us.
I agree, but I don't think Doherty's leaving. I know, as much as they said if we get an offer for him, Nuno will sanction the deal. I just feel like, considering we're signing him for 13 million and he's on a 4-year deal, I think he's going to stay. And from that, I think we're going to have to just get our head around it. Is going to be Tomiyasu and Doherty. I think that's going to be the scenario. That's my feeling anyway. I feel like that's going to be the scenario going into the season. Because I think Aurier, with 1 year left on his deal, the hierarchy always going to let him go first before Doherty. That's just the reality of the situation. But you're right. I think Romero is a player who can be a leader in our back line, and that's what we needed. We need someone to take responsibility. We need someone to hold other people accountable. It'll be interesting to see if he does partner Eric Dyer, who takes more of a leadership role between the two, seeing as Dyer's a more senior centre-back. He's obviously been around the club for a long, long time. He knows the players. Dyer's not afraid to talk, to shout at players and whatnot. And he would presumably want a bit more of a leadership role. But Romero coming in as this superstar centre-back, 23 years, but he's younger. Would he maybe assume that role straight away? It'll be interesting to see how they work together if that's the partnership we're going for. And obviously, if he's partnered with Rodon, you would expect Romero to take more of a leadership role.
Yeah, even though they're around the same age.
But he's just had more top-level experience than Joe Rodon. But obviously, Rodon now, with a year at Tottenham, he's had the big year. He had that great performance at the Euros as well. You could say he's got a bit more top-level experience, but still not as much as Romero, having won the Copa America and got Serie A Defender of the Year and stuff like that.
I would like to persist with Rodon and Romero, to be honest. I've had enough of Eric Dyer. I really have. I can't be asked to sit through another start of the season with Eric Dyer, and then 2-3 months into the season he gets dropped, and then everyone's like, oh, why is Eric Dyer here? Can we sell him already? And then it gets to the end of the season, there's all these rumours about Eric Dyer going, and then he gets a new lease of life at the start of the next season. How many times has that happened?
Yeah, I has happened a few times, and I agree. I think Rodon's our future, and I think Dyer is a player who, when he's at his best, can be a good defender. But unfortunately, patience has run out with him for a lot of fans, because he just doesn't seem to ever get rid of these mistakes in his game. They always seem to creep back. As much as he has good performances, they always seem to be marred with moments of stupidity where he does something just absolutely ridiculous and it costs us. So I would like us to persist with Rodon and Romero if that's to be if those are the defenders we have at our disposal. The only thing is, we would have to be patient.
Yeah,
would have to be
100%.
patient, and it's about the fan base being patient, because it's a very good possibility that first 3 months together,
If we have Dyer, we have to be patient as well, by the way.
I think you can expect a bit less patience with Dyer than Rodon and Romero, just because
we know the mistakes are coming.
First of all, that, and also he's 27, 28 now. It's time that you get to your peak of your game. We've been waiting around for you for a long time now to get to the top of your game, and I think you can expect less patience when Eric Dyer's making mistakes, but when Rodon and Romero are kind of either making mistakes or have lack of communication and stuff like that, positional wise, they're two 23-year-old centre-backs. They're going to make errors. They're going to need to learn from experiences. They're going to need to grow together as a partnership, and I think from that sense, we're going to have to allow them a few mistakes in the first 3 to 5 months of if they're going to be playing together for a long time in the future, until they can learn together and learn each other's game. We were very lucky beforehand that Vertonghen and Alderweireld, when we had them, they had played with each other for years at Ajax. They knew each other's game inside out before they both joined Tottenham. It will be a very different scenario with Romero and Rodon. So that's the only thing I'd say. I would hope Tottenham fans can be patient with them if they really believe in them to be a partnership going forward. I just feel like for 2-3 months they're going to have a lot of positional errors and communication errors, and people are going to get sick of it and they they're not good enough and blah blah blah. But the reality is they're just young centre backs who need patience.
I think either way, talking about the whole team here, not just the defence, either way, we're going to have to be super patient this season, because I look at this season as a proper season of transition. This is a real season of transition. I think top 4 is out of our reach this season. I firmly believe that. And I think if we can get 5th or 6th and get Europa League qualification, I do think that's a good season for next season going into it. So it is a big year of transition. I think that we're going to have to be patient. We've got a lot of young talent coming to the club that's going to need time to bed in and what have you. So that's why as well I would like to bet... just persist with Rodon and Romero to get their partnership on point if we're not going to bring in another centre-back.
Yeah, that's the future, I think. So I think that would be the best course of action if we don't. I think those are our 2 best defensive players. So I would agree. I would persist with them. But yeah, you're right. It's going to be transition. It's going to be a taking time, getting used to Nuno's system. We've already wasted so much time already this summer that we're already lagging behind. We've said that a number of times. So it's going to be a lot of transitioning this summer, this season, and I feel like the best we can hope for really is top 6 in a trophy. That would be the season the best. That's like our ceiling, I reckon. Yeah. I don't think we're getting a better season than that. More reality is we'll probably only get one or the other. I don't even think we're going to get top 6 in a trophy, but that I think we can do that. That's compared to last season where minimum was top 4 in a trophy. That's obviously that's not in our reach anymore. And you can't even rely on winning Europa League to get in the Champions League, so we only have one shot at Champions League, which is top 4. So I think we're going to have to contend with probably another season after this without Champions League football.
And you know what you were saying before on Matt Doherty and about selling him and about how you think it's unlikely that we're going to sell him because we bought him for 13 million or whatever it was, and you don't think we can recoup that money, which is absolutely spot on. But the words that Fabio Paratici was saying about incomings, like if you see a player that you want, and you overspend on him for 2 million, then you should do it. You should go and overspend on him for 2-3 million, whatever it is. I think it's got to be the same for outgoings as well, because if you've got a player that's clearly not good enough and he's going to be going down in value anyway, just get him out the door as soon as you can, because what's the point of having him hanging around?
I agree, and I think if we were to get a deal, not even if it's like 8 million or something for Doherty, or 7 million,
I would take 5 million for Doherty right now. Thank you very much. See you later.
I think just get rid and start improving the squad. If you're really serious about improving, then you got to accept that and accept that you made a mistake, take your loss on the chin, and move on. But we don't do that, and I think hopefully Paratici can help us look at that in a different way. But unfortunately, I just think with the Doherty thing, as much as I don't think he's up to it, at Tottenham. I really don't. I haven't been convinced by him at all in a Spurs shirt, and I really believe that I believe he's a better player than he showed us last season, but I don't believe he's the player that will allow us to be in the top 4. I always think he's going to be a liability. As much as Nuno, I think, could improve him and get more out of him, I don't think he's going to be able to get a player out of him that's good enough to be a top 4 right back. But having said that, I just feel like Levy and the Tottenham board will probably gamble on getting a better performance out of Doherty rather than sell him cheap and bring in a better right back. That's how I feel. That's what I feel about the hierarchy this summer, especially with Nuno coming in. They're probably in their head they're thinking it's probably better off us trusting Nuno to get the best out of Doherty than selling him for a big loss and spending big on another right back. That's how I think the hierarchy.
Nuno's probably put his arm around Daniel Levy and he's like, look, this is how I screwed you. Now get rid of him for me as well again.
I'd hope he'd do that. But
you know what I mean? Like Matt, he sold him to us so easily for so cheap last year.
It was too easy.
Top Wolves right back, and like, I remember you had your suspicions at the time.
Yeah.
You had your suspicions at the time, and we spoke to that Wolves channel as well, and they were happy with the deal. They were happy to see the back of Matt Doherty at that time. They had no problems with it whatsoever.
And now we're seeing why.
Yeah, exactly.
Now we're seeing why. I think he was a player who fitted a very specific system very well. He could do that role in that system well, but in terms of him as an actual player, he's actually not that great. He's quite average, and I think we're seeing that now at the moment. There's nothing great like as I said before, his biggest attributes at Wolves was his positional sense, getting in those attacking positions at the back post in the final third and making a difference there. Apart from that, he actually didn't do that much. He wasn't that great at Wolves.
Yeah.
So
we just see the highlights around YouTube. We see the highlights on Match of the Day of him arriving late in the box
and you're thinking,
getting that header and scoring that goal. And obviously there was that goal against Arsenal, which everyone liked to watch. And you get blinded by it. You get blinded by it because you're not a Wolves fan. You don't watch him week in, week out every game.
You get blinded by his attacking returns. You think, oh, look how many goals and assists he got. And, oh, look at that. He must be a really good attacking right back. But you don't think about how much freedom he did get in that Wolves team. He was pretty much he was like a right winger who was never going to be picked up because he was a defender.
Yeah.
So they never even looked at him. Yeah. And it was a great tactical move from Nuno to do that because Doherty always had space. He was never picked up. They weren't ever looking at Matt Doherty because he's a right wing back. So all their defensive resources always went into the forwards of Neto and Jimenez and Traore. They're always so occupied by them forwards that Doherty was always free at the back post pretty much.
Always.
And he was able to get so many goals and assists. But at Tottenham, I knew he was never going to get that freedom at Tottenham. And now we're seeing
especially under Jose.
Yeah. And now we're seeing Doherty under constraints, what it looks like. And it's not great.
No, it's not. And on a side note, talking of Wolves, it was great. It was absolutely unbelievable to see Raul Jimenez back on the pitch and scoring goals for Wolves last week in a pre-season. And obviously, I just want to echo the thoughts that we were talking about last night. Wesley Fofana. There was a picture of him this morning smiling in his hospital bedroom. But look, absolutely nasty injury that was to Wesley Fofana last night, and it's hard to see any football player get an injury like that, especially a player that did so well in his first year of the Premier League last year.
Yeah, and he was he was brilliant. He had an absolute amazing first season. He's going to be the most promising. Hopefully, if he recovers from this injury, he was the most promising teenage centre back in one of the most promising in Europe. To be fair, the way his performances went, and so it's a massive gutting setback for him to have that injury. And I feel for him because when you see a player with that much promise get that an early injury so early on in his career, it can really set players back, and it can even ruin players' career. Some players never recover from injuries like that. That's the sad reality of the situation. So I really hope he gets back to fitness as soon as possible, and hopefully it's not just physically he needs to recover, but mentally as well. Because a lot of the time when you come back, you're physically there, but mentally you're just shirking challenges and you're not fully there because you're paranoid about something similar ever happening again. And that's why sometimes you can never fully recover. So hopefully mentally as well, he can recover from this injury, and hopefully he gets back to his best as soon as possible.
100%. Let's go and have a look at the next headline. Tottenham have accepted a season-long loan bid from Galatasaray for Japhet Tanganga, which is very interesting. We've brought you the kind of news where we think the links have been made, and we thought maybe it could happen. But so we have accepted a bid. But then Charlie Eccleshare does go on to say that Tanganga is in no rush to make a decision, and he still wants to be at Tottenham Hotspur this season to fight for his space. But if it looks like insufficient game time, then a loan will become more likely. So the decision rests on Japhet Tanganga's head now.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I saw the situation. I think Spurs would be happy for him to go there. I think Tanganga would rather have a stay in England or stay at Spurs and have minutes here. But if that's not going to happen, then he's going to have to take the move. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if he's not in no rush to look at it, because there's still a few weeks left of the window, so maybe he'll just bide his time and see what offers come through. But as I said, I think this is going to be, if he does move to Galatasaray on a year loan, I think that's a good move for him. I think it will definitely help aid his development, and he'll be a better player for it. So I think Tottenham clearly, by accepting the deal, believe that it'll be a good move for him if he does go there, because I don't think they'll accept it if they didn't believe it would be a good move for him. So hopefully, look, we'll see what happens. Hopefully he does get a move.
Is the quality good enough in the Turkish league, do you reckon?
Yeah. I mean, look, it's not the best, but there's different things that it brings with you. It's not necessarily just the quality of football, which I think playing week in, week out for a team with high expectations like Galatasaray in the Turkish league, however good the quality of the league is, I still think you have to be for a player of his age, you still need to be a decent player to be playing first choice for Galatasaray. And I think as well, there's the intense atmospheres of Turkish football, which he'll have to deal with, and that's not the easiest thing in the world, and he'll have to get used to that, and that will help aid his development. And it's quite a physical league as well, so I think in that sense, and also there's European football, so if he's playing European football as well on a consistent basis, starting games, I think that's also positive. So as much as I don't think the Turkish league is obviously one of the top 5 leagues or anything like that, I still think there's a lot to be there's a lot of benefits to him playing.
He'll definitely grow up there over the space of 12 months, that's for sure. Look, like I think it's been proven with Japhet Tanganga that he probably needs constant game time. I think a player at his age, I think just reverting to like the odd game here and there and coming off the bench here and there is not enough. It's nowhere near enough, and he needs,
especially if his age 22 now.
Exactly. For his development, he needs to have a whole season playing week in, week out. So look, if he chooses to go there, best of luck to him. If he doesn't choose to go there, I hope he does get another loan, because I don't think that he's just good enough just yet to start for us week in, week out. Yeah,
unfortunately, that's how I feel as well. As much as I know people really want to see Tanganga grow and given more opportunities in the first team and stuff like that, and people want even like people like Brian saying we shouldn't send him on loan, he has to be involved in the first team. I just don't know. I don't think he's ready yet. I really don't. As much as I think he's done decent job when he's given the chance, I also feel like he's still lacking in a few areas which he needs to improve on to really get a good run in the team and get consistent starts for Tottenham.
Do you think if Japhet Tanganga didn't come through our youth academy, fans will still have like the same opinions on him?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. That's
a harsh reality.
It is. But the thing is with Jaff, he's got really good attributes. You can see that he's got very good attributes to move forward, but like you say, he's just missing some parts of his game that he needs to improve on. And I think week in, week out football might do the trick. It might do the trick.
Yeah, and I think because he's come through our youth academy and he's always willing to play in any position he's told. He always puts in 100%. He does have some genuine natural ability, especially at defending and physically and stuff like that. But I just think if he was a new signing, people would be a lot less patient with him. And I think if he was a new signing, people saw what they saw with him, people would be calling for him to be sold. And I just think they are rightly being patient with him, but they're only being patient with him because he's a youth academy product. And I don't think, I'm not saying that he's been rubbish or anything, or he's a rubbish player. I just think he's offered more patience than other players because of his status as a youth player. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that's a reality. And I think personally, we look from him through
lily white tinted glasses
because of that. And I think every good thing he does on a pitch, we oh, look, he's so good, or yes, look at Tanganga's gonna be the next big thing. But a lot of the times we overlook when he does a stray pass from centre back when he's playing it into midfield and stuff like that, and we just overlook that because we are so desperate for him to do well. Yeah. And I think for me, from what I've seen, I just don't think he's ready yet for the first team.
Okay, moving on. Let's talk about Hugo Lloris now, because he was not anywhere to be seen yesterday. Charlie Eccleshare said that Nuno said that Lloris picked up a small problem at the Euros and is working his way back to full fitness.
Yeah, what's interesting is he was on the bench against the
MK Dons.
He didn't play, but then he was on the bench against Chelsea. So maybe it was something, I don't know, maybe he was just on the bench, not necessarily because he was ever going to play, just to be a face there, because he's captain and stuff, which I don't. Well, it doesn't have to be announced on the bench. He can just be at the game. I don't understand that, so it's a bit strange one. But look, at least Golini, if Lloris is gonna miss the first game or so, at least Golini has come in, had his first game, and played very, very well. So hopefully that'll give him confidence if he does have to play against Man City, and start. And obviously, I'm sure he'll try and take that opportunity with both hands, because as David Harris said, I don't think he's here to play second fiddle. I think he's here to be number one. Especially when he's been number one last season at a team who finished fourth in Serie A, and he had a decent season.
Didn't they finish higher than fourth last year?
Was it fourth or third?
I thought they finished second or third.
They finished second? I
could be wrong.
It was top four. I don't know if it was second. Maybe it was second. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it was third or fourth. I might be wrong. I know Juventus finished fourth. Third. It was third.
Milan finished second.
So obviously he's going to be coming into the team thinking I'm good enough to be number one at a team that like Tottenham, seeing as he was at a team who finished third in Serie A. So I have no qualms about putting Golini in early doors if need be. But it is obviously a bit disappointing if Lloris is going to miss the first few weeks, or whatever. We'll have to wait and see. But at least it gives Golini an early opportunity to stake his claim, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Look, I would have preferred Hugo, obviously, to be fit, firing, ready for the first game of the season. I think Golini, yes, he had a really good performance yesterday. But I think the jury's got to be still out. It's just a pre-season game against Chelsea, in my opinion. So we'll have to see how it plays out.
But we'll give him confidence, won't it?
Definitely. And I really did like the look of him. I'm not just saying that. I really did like the look of him. But obviously, Hugo is the better keeper right now.
Of course.
So that's who we want in for the first game of the season.
Yeah, but at least if he had come in yesterday, Golini, and made a mistake or something, and all of a sudden he has to start against Man City, maybe he's thinking, oh, I really need to have a good game, otherwise the knives are going to be out. But at least after a really good first performance, it might settle the nerves a bit, and he might be more in a confident mood going to the game against Man City.
Yeah, no, definitely. And we've got a super chat here from Tim Falco saying, love the channel, keep it up, boys, from the Welsh Hotspur.
Big up, Tim Falco.
Big up yourself. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much for getting involved with the channel. We've got 1,245 people watching at the moment, but only 195 likes. Everyone do scroll down, smash that like button and smash that subscriber button. It really does help with the algorithms of the channel, and we much appreciate every single one of you that does like and subscribe and get involved and just watch the channel every single day. The next bit of news we're going to be talking about is Harry Kane. Some interesting news coming out from the PFA. Let me just try find it. I've lost it now.
Kane.
basically the PFA president was talking, saying that
here it says PFA chief Mahita Molango says his organisation would love to help Harry Kane. We have not been asked to arbitrate, but obviously Harry is one of our members, and we would love to be able to help.
Help what though? I don't understand this.
I don't know. Help mediate between him and Tottenham, I'm guessing. I'm not sure why.
What mediate?
They want to get involved.
I don't get like why everyone is talking about Harry Kane being held captive, because he's not. He's not. We're just like any other club. You pay the money that it's worth, and you get the player. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Man City are like, they're willing to go up to 130. They've got all the money in the world, owned by a country. They've got the money to stump up, and everyone knows they got the money to stump up. So you pay the money for Harry Kane and what we value him at, or you're not going to get him, or you wait until next summer and get him for a bit cheaper.
Yeah, but here I'm guessing just him not turning up to training. Maybe the PFA have seen there's maybe more going on or something, and maybe they wanna see the full picture and situation and help mediate the issues between Tottenham and Harry Kane at the moment, because maybe there's more to it than just paying the price and stuff like that. But
how about helping Tottenham with a player that's under contract for 3 more years and refusing to go to training?
Yeah, but they're the player organisation.
I know that, but I'm saying a different body or something.
What body?
The Premier League? I don't know. The FA? Something.
Premier League have to help? What? Why is
why the PFA? Yeah, fine. They want to help their players. They want to help the players that are under their governing body. But at the end of the day, Harry Kane is the one doing wrong here, not Tottenham.
Yeah, and they want to try to help resolve the situation.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is Tottenham need more help than Harry Kane right now.
Tottenham need more help than Harry Kane. Yeah, but
we've got a player who's our top earner at the club, who's been captain for years. Not captain, but he's a leader within the dressing room. England captain. And he's on 200 grand a week, and he's refusing to turn up to training. Yeah,
but that's the Tottenham's problem. It's no one else's problem.
Yeah.
I know we're a member of the Premier League, but the Premier League can't get involved in individual situations like that. PFA is different because they're the players' organisation.
Yeah, but
they have members.
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying that. Why do the PFA feel like they need to butt in? Why do they need to butt in? Because Harry Kane is the one doing wrong here.
Yeah, and they want to try help mediate between Kane and Tottenham.
Yeah, but the way they're saying it is that they want to help Kane is like insinuating to me
because that Kane is of their interest.
Yeah,
Tottenham is not their interest.
I understand that. But what they're saying is, it feels as like to me, what they're saying is like Tottenham are like holding them captive or something like that.
I don't think so. I don't think
that's what I just get from it, and that's what I get from the whole media circus around the whole thing as well.
I don't know. I didn't get that from I think the PFA have seen a situation where there's a big issue between Tottenham and Kane, and they want to help solve it and sort it out. They don't want.
What does help solving it look like, though?
I don't know. I've never heard of PFA getting involved in things like this before, so I've got no idea.
Only Tottenham this happens with.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much to read into that, to be fair. But here's an interesting quote on from Dimitar Berbatov. Did you read this?
No.
So Berbatov on Harry Kane missing training. He says, "I don't think it's the right way to behave. I never boycotted training. That's the difference. Training is easy. It's behind closed doors. Most teammates will understand you, and it'll be easy to let go of some stress with banter and jokes." So Berbatov was saying Kane is dealing with this the wrong way, which is interesting. Because
I thought he did go on strike.
From playing the game. He wasn't picked because he wasn't in the right frame of mind to play, but he's claiming he never boycotted training.
Interesting. He just vanished into Manchester.
Yeah, well, I think he was who was our manager done? Ramos just didn't pick him. Ramos didn't pick him for the games because he was in the right frame of mind. Maybe he turned up to training and just wasn't taking it seriously.
I thought Berbatov just turned up to Manchester, going and Alex Ferguson just picked him up from the airport.
No, what happened? He didn't just turn up to Manchester. What happened was
he was going to Man City. That's
exactly.
What it was,
he agreed a deal for Man City, and then Fergie kidnapped him at the airport and said, "No, you're not going to City, mate. You're coming to United."
How was that even allowed?
Don't know. He just did it though, didn't he?
The stuff that Fergie used to do, it all just got brushed under the carpet. Nobody cared about anything that Fergie used to do.
That's what Rafa said. Facts. This is facts.
It's true though. It's true. It is facts. It is.
No, you're absolutely right, and I think it was very old school, and he got away with a lot of shit. But I guess he got away with a lot of shit you probably wouldn't be able to get away with now, Fergie. But that's what made him so great, I guess.
Let's move on to the next bit of story. Exclusively broken to yesterday on We Are Tottenham TV, just as a bit of a rumour and a bit of fun, but it's actually come to life today from the Mail, so I'm not sure exactly how reliable it is, but Newcastle have apparently expressed an interest in Ollie Skip for a season-long loan deal. We brought to you last week that if we do bring in a couple of midfielders, Spurs might potentially look to be loaning out Ollie Skip to a Premier League side, a la like what we did with Kyle Walker with Aston Villa all those years ago.
Yeah.
Do you think this is one that could potentially happen?
Yeah, I mean, it obviously depends what happens. Unfortunately, if this does happen, we probably haven't got rid of Sissoko. So, I mean, that would be a worry for me if we're willing to loan out Ollie Skip and Sissoko's still around. But I think it would be a good move for him. I do think he would start on a week-on-week basis, and he would get a lot of responsibility. I just think he's of the required quality to be playing for Tottenham, and I especially think, if we're playing a 4-3-3 system, I think he could add a lot of value next season. And I'd hate for Spurs to be struggling in central midfield next season and seeing Ollie Skip thrive for Newcastle, and then thinking, well, why isn't he with us? That would be a terrible situation for me. So, as much I do think it would be a good move for him, I also think staying with Tottenham, I think the difference between him and Tanganga is I think Skip is very much more ready, in my opinion, to be playing in the Tottenham first team than Tanganga is. And I think Skip is ready to assert a bit more responsibility on his shoulders, and I think he's ready. He wants that. He wants to be in the first team right now, and as much as he would be good for Newcastle, I think he would be good for us as well. So I would like to see him stick around personally. But I think Newcastle, if it was to happen where we sign someone and there isn't as much game time as we'd hope for Skip, and he does go on loan to Newcastle, it would be a good move for him.
Yeah, it would be, and I think it really could stand us in good stead for the following season. A year of Premier League experience week in, week out is not to be sniffed at, But we have got a bit of breaking news from Republica publication. Spurs Express actually called them very reliable. I don't have a tier for them or anything, but the breaking news is Tottenham have now made their first offer for Mikkel Damsgaard. The bid is higher than 20 million euros, and Sampdoria want around 40 million euros. Yeah,
so this is another one which we're going to be negotiating for a budget, unless obviously we get the Kane money in, and then we'll probably push the boat out a bit. I don't think we're going to be going higher than probably between 25 and 30 million euros for him, I would imagine.
Do you think Sampdoria will meet us halfway?
I mean, he's still got a few years left of his contract, doesn't he, Damsgaard? Yeah. I think so. I don't think they're in any rush. He's 20 years of age.
Unless you don't know if they're in there any sort of money problems. They are in Serie A and obviously not in Europe and stuff like that. So you never know.
I've got no idea. I'm not sure whether they would rather the money or not. But I think, and when it comes to Damsgaard, given his age, he's got 3 years left on his deal. There is no reason to take it, like Spurs, there's no reason to take anything less than exactly what they're demanding right now.
Yeah.
And we look, at the end of the day, when it comes to Romero, we had to meet Atlanta's price. They didn't budge. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe Sampdoria will see that and think we're not going to budge either.
But if we are going in for a Damsgaard, obviously it means that we rate him highly. Fabio Paratici rates him highly. And we have heard that, if he wants his play, he doesn't mind spending a few pounds, a few euros over what they're willing to spend. We did it with Christian Romero. Do you see us doing it again with Damsgaard?
Sorry, what, spending?
Spending a bit over than what we wanted to spend.
I think it's less likely with Damsgaard just because he's more of a player who, despite having a very good Euros, he's more of a player probably that has potential to be good rather than a player like Romero who we're convinced by. So obviously I think we've scouted him and we've looked at him close and we think this guy can be a very good player. But whether we're willing to completely overplay I think when it comes to overplaying for a player, these are usually players who who are established and you 100% know if you bring this guy in, there is very little risk that he's not going to be the player you need. I think with Damsgaard, the risk is a bit higher than that just because of his age and, hasn't been playing. He's been playing for Sampdoria, but I don't like even last season. I'm sure he had a good season, but I don't think he was one of the best in Serie A or anything.
I don't think he's had like a out and out season starting every single game. I don't think he's had that in his career yet. Oh, having said that, he did play 35 games for Sampdoria last season. And that was his first season at Sampdoria.
Yeah, 2 goals. It was
his first season.
2 goals, 4 assists. So it's not like he was bucketing output, was he? But that's not to say he's a bad player. He's young. He's growing into himself. But like, if we were to sign a player, for example, who's already producing, then you pay a little extra because look, this guy is already producing. Clearly, if we bring him in, he's more likely he's going to continue to do that for Spurs rather than someone like Damsgaard, who you're hoping will increase his output if he does come to Spurs, rather than a player who's already increasing their output. That's what I think. Do
you see why we're signing a Damsgaard and a Brian Hill in the same window, or going for both of them in the same window?
No, I wouldn't make much sense to me. Because they're both naturally on the left.
Yeah, they're both left players that come into the middle a bit. I mean, they do seem fairly similar. Similar ages, similar style of play. Obviously, they've got different attributes.
We've already got Bergwijn and Son who play on the left-hand side as well. So, I think we should probably have other priorities. In all honesty,
yeah.
It doesn't make too much sense spending big money on 2 young left wingers. But having said that, maybe we can mould one of Gil or Damsgaard into a different position.
On the right, in the middle.
Damsgaard, I believe. I'm looking at me, but I believe he can definitely be a player who can play through the middle.
Mm-hmm.
More likely than Gil, who are people who also say can play through the middle. So maybe we've got a view of the changing his position or something. But for me, as much as I like Damsgaard, I think he's a good player. We've done this before, Tottenham. Like even when we signed like Bergwijn, like we signed him for 27 million, and it was like, okay, he's a good player, but like we desperately needed other positions.
Striker.
We needed a striker. We had other priorities. So it's like,
remember at that time we were linked with so many strikers.
Yeah,
every day there's a different striker, and then we ended up with Bergwijn.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, okay, you've got this player. Fair enough, you're spending money on him, but like, why aren't you addressing the real issues? And that's why I feel like with this Damsgaard deal, as much as I like him as a player, it's like, we address the real issues first, then Damsgaard could be a nice cherry on top of the end.
Unless someone like Lucas Moura, I know it's been reported that he's not, but unless someone like a Lucas Moura is going, or we're getting rid of one of our other attacking players.
Yeah.
And that could also be a possibility.
So I guess it's possible if we get an offer in. We have to wait.
Obviously, nothing's been spoken about just yet, and all the noises coming out of the club is that Lucas Moura will be staying next season, and he will be a big player for us. But you never know what's happening behind closed doors, do you?
Yeah, but then why? But if we're selling Lucas, is Damsgaard the perfect replacement for him? I don't know. I just think Damsgaard, I think he can definitely improve our creativity. That would be for sure, and he would be a good signing. I'd be happy with it if we signed him. It's just like we've seen this before with Tottenham, where we make a signing for a player where we don't exactly need. Mm-hmm. And then we leave other issues which we desperately need unattended.
Yeah,
and that's why I just hope we don't do that in this window. And I'm fearful that we spend big money on Damsgaard, and then all of a sudden we're skimping out on players for positions we really really need. And all of a sudden then all of a sudden we lose out on a player, for example, a top class right back or centre back that we desperately needed, because we wanted to spend an extra few million on a player for a position it's not essential.
Yeah. And when you've got players on the market like Leon Bailey, who's just gone to Aston Villa for 30 million, and you're talking about signing a Mikel Damsgaard for around a similar price, on the right-hand side of that attack, Leon Bailey, I mean, we could have really done with him. And to let him go for Aston Villa for £30 million, I think is a big mistake in my opinion.
Bailey's a great player, and they've got a very good player on their hands. One who's got a serious left foot, can play on the right, can play on the left, could even play up front if need be on occasion. And he's already producing for Bayer Leverkusen on a consistent basis. He's getting goals and assists fairly regularly. He can be a bit inconsistent, but by and large is a very good player. And if you can get that consistency out of him, he's going to be a real top signing for Villa. And I would much rather have signed a Leon Bailey than a Gil or a Damsgaard personally, just because I think he's more ready-made to come into the team now. And I think he's got, right now, he's a better player. And he's got a higher ceiling. He's not necessarily got a higher ceiling, but he's got a higher skill set right now. So, unfortunately, Villa has stumped us on that one. It looks like obviously they've got their man already. And we're going to have to look elsewhere. But it's a frustration that even though Villa, they're not in European football next season, but they're able to beat us to players which we really should be looking at.
Yeah. Well, it's not even beat us because we didn't even even rumoured for him or even go for him, but we should be going for him.
I remember more last time, wasn't it? There was rumours that we were looking at him.
Yeah.
But we never really ever got close at all.
Exactly. Do we have any callers in the back end?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, we do. One. Let's get him on in a second. Let me just see if there's any other pressing topics to talk about. 1 second. That does seem to be the breaking news at the moment. Mikael Damsgaard opening bid going in from Tottenham Hotspur.
Romano just commenting on the merry-go-round, saying that Atalanta are readying a £40 million bid for Tammy Abraham. And then that will open up the door for Zapata to go to Inter, and it could potentially open the door for Lukaku to go to Chelsea. So that one seems to be moving at the moment. And if Chelsea sign Lukaku,
that is Lautaro Martinez to come to Spurs. Lukaku staying at Inter.
I wish. And I'm hopeful as well, but it looks like Lukaku, that one, that seems to be on the cards, to be fair.
Did you see that thing from the Inter Milan ultras yesterday?
Yeah, they were protesting, weren't they?
Protesting the sale of Romelu Lukaku because the president of Inter Milan promised that they will not be selling him this summer.
Well, seems to be breaking that promise if they get the right deal. I think as well they're not in quite a kind of the same position as Tottenham, but he's 28. From Inter Milan's point of view, if you have the opportunity to get that amount of money in for a player like Lukaku, even though he's one of the best strikers in Europe at the moment, for a 28-year-old, I think they're probably more likely to take it than Spurs are. And I think Kane's going to have more longevity than Lukaku, in my opinion. That's why he might be worth the money more than someone like Lukaku. But I think Lukaku last season and the past couple of years, since going into Milan, I wouldn't say he's been better than Kane, but he's been similar to Kane's level. He really has been.
He's been top level. And the thing is about Kane and Lukaku, I mean, Kane does have that injury record that Lukaku doesn't have. Yeah,
he seems to be more available from injuries, isn't he? I think since coming to Inter, Lukaku he's improved so much as a player. So much. I think anyone who still thinks he's that donkey who can't control the ball or anything like that,
he's
are
top
seriously underrating him.
He's evolved since leaving Manchester United, big time. And you can see it in his physique and how he's built himself up.
And he's not just in and around the box. He's also dribbling, holding up the ball. He can take people on. He can beat last men, and he still has the poaching ability he always had. He always had that finishing ability, but he now has more quality in and around the penalty box, like putting crosses in and stuff like that. He can do very effectively, and I think he's become a proper all-round striker. Yeah. I still think Kane at the moment is a better player, just because I feel like when coming deep, I think his passing range Lukaku doesn't have, and I think Kane is just a bit of a better finisher than Lukaku is. But I think Lukaku, in terms of his strength and his ability to bully centre-backs and his pace, those things probably he does have the beating of Kane on. I
think you've got to say the top three strikers in the world right now is Harry Kane, Lewandowski and Lukaku. Those are the top three strikers in the world by far.
Yep.
By far.
That's how I see it as well. And that's... and I think if Chelsea were to get him, he could really be a missing piece of their puzzle up front, because they've got Werner, they've got Havertz and stuff. They
that miss from Werner last night was classic
Werner. Just skewing his shot from the penalty spot just wide. But I would say Lukaku, they're having sold Giroud, they don't really have a striker at the moment who does that strength and hold up play and is a presence in the box, and he would be that missing piece. And I think he's the only player I think Chelsea could sign to respond to City signing Kane. I think he's who?
Erling Haaland.
Maybe Haaland as well, I guess. Haaland as well, he could also be a statement. But I think Haaland is ungettable this summer.
Yeah.
I don't think he's gettable.
But
so I think this summer he's the only one.
You look at Haaland next year; he's available for so cheap compared to like what his quality suggests. You know what I mean? You're talking about Harry Kane and Lukaku for 120, 130 million plus. You can get Haaland next summer for like 60, 70 mil.
Yeah, he's got a release clause.
What a steal that would be for someone of his quality.
That'd be unbelievable.
And
did you see these? Who was it? The Daily Star said there were secret meetings between Tottenham and Haaland last summer. I was like, yeah, okay, sure. I'm
sure they were probably just asking Haaland what he likes to eat. You know what I mean? Just all. Anyway, like, can you imagine though if Lukaku goes to Chelsea, Kane goes to City, and Haaland goes to one of Man United or Liverpool next summer?
Yeah, then who were Spurs left with? Nothing.
Spurs are left with Dybala. That's who we're left with.
Yeah, right. I wish.
Let's get Eden Cooper on.
Oh, Eden.
I can't hear him.
There he is. He's fine. I can hear him.
Eden.
Oh, no, I can't hear him. Yeah, I can hear him.
Yeah. How you doing, Eden?
Good. I'm okay. How you doing?
Yeah, good, mate. Good, mate. Did you have a good summer celebrating your Euros win?
Yeah. I mean, probably it looks weird like an English guy is supporting Italy, but I've been living in Italy for 15 years, so I'm sorry, guys, but I've always supported Italy. So
See how
it's all right. And I heard a rumor that you've been sending in some We Are Tottenham TV memes as well.
Yeah, last night I just sent the first one. I was watching the watch along with you guys, and I saw this clip where you showed Sim the phone. I thought it was a bit funny.
I knew as soon as I did that, someone was going to clip that up. I just knew
what was it? I didn't see that.
I showed you something on the phone. Do you remember?
Yeah, but I didn't see
that.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't see the meme.
Oh, it went up last night or this morning or something.
Yeah. I think you can't see it
on Twitter.
Yeah, it's on Instagram.
Okay, I have to take a look at that.
Anyway, Eden, what do you want to talk about today? What's your burning topic of desire you want to talk about?
Well, there's a lot to talk about. There's Romero coming, Kane leaving. I like to start with Romero.
Okay.
Because, obviously, watching a lot of Serie A, I know him a lot. I've seen him play very often. I had him in my fantasy team last year, so I really like him. Even before him being linked to Spurs, I'm a big fan of his.
Who's your Serie A team, Eden?
Sorry?
Who's your team in Italy?
I support my local team, Bari.
Okay.
Bari. Okay.
I mean, they used to be in the top leagues quite a while ago, like 20 years ago or something, didn't they?
Yeah, they are a big team because Bari is a big city. But unfortunately, now we're in the 3rd division because we had to start from the 4th division because we went bankrupt like 3 seasons ago. So we're in a mess. We were in a mess. Now we're a bit better, but it's very tough here. You know how clubs are just broke.
Oh, that's all right.
But talk to me about Christian Romero. You say you watch a lot of football in Italy. What can we expect from him that maybe we don't know?
Yeah, obviously you talked a lot about him, and he's well reported how good he is. He had a great season, the Copa America winner. But I think didn't get very mentioned that he got quite a few goals. I think this season, I know personally because I had him in my team, that he got like 6 or 7 goals. He was always a threat on set pieces. Even though he's not the tallest, he's only like he's not the tallest. I think he's like 5'11" or 12. He's not the tallest, but I think he has a good head on him. Obviously, his defensive skills are brilliant. My only issue is that he's always played in a back three with Genoa, with back three, with Atalanta back three, and apparently Nuno's going to go for a back 4. So that's my only worry. But I'm pretty sure with Argentina he played in the back 4 and he did well. So hopefully he can adapt in both systems. I think he's going to be great. I hope we have him available for the City game because last night, I mean, I don't want to see Dyer anymore. Sanchez apparently isn't even in his plans because he hasn't played at all. But I really think we also need another centre-back because it's just not enough to have just Romero. But seeing us linked with another winger is odd for me. While we need another right-back, we need another centre-back, and we're still linked with forward players. I don't understand. And probably a striker we're going to need. So I really find it odd that we're linked to Damsgaard.
Yeah.
But whatever. I mean,
Talking about Romero, Eden, he obviously got Serie A Defender of the Year last year. Everyone keeps saying it. Is he really, really highly thought of then in Italy? Like in terms of how Italian fans look at him, is he seen as like one of the best defenders right now in Serie A?
yeah, he's been talked about for many years. Like I remember noticing him like 3 years ago when Juventus bought him, and then they had to loan him to Genoa because they just bought the league. They had too many defenders, so they had to loan him back. So Juventus had a bit of problems with him. They probably now regretting it since he went for 50 million. But yeah, he's always been very talked highly. Then he had a good season with Genoa. And to go to Atalanta have been getting top 4 for like 3 years. So like, Atalanta's like Tottenham a few years ago. They've got top 4 for like 3 seasons in a row. So to go to Atalanta is a big move. I wouldn't say the price is great because I mean 50 million is a lot of money. If you think that with 50 million we could have got Skriniar last year, probably you'd say it's a better investment. But I mean, this market you can't. The price, I think we have to forget about the price tag. I just want to concentrate on the player we got because nowadays players go for minimum 40 million. So if you get a player for 50, you have to consider it a good price. That's the reality.
You think Skriniar's considered a better defender right now than Romero in Italy?
Yes, but obviously Romero is younger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're 3 years apart, aren't they?
Yeah, but Skriniar has had like 4 or 5 Serie A top seasons. For instance, he's won the Serie A. It's a different player, but obviously Romero is a top signing for me.
Yeah, that should be that's something to get excited about, isn't it? Getting Christian Romero through the door. Yeah. Where would you like to see us prioritise next? Now Romero's coming in. What would be your next big signing? What position?
I think honestly, it all depends on Mr. Harry Kane. Like a lot of it depends on it because if he leaves, we have no striker, and apparently this deal was going to go on for quite a long time. So I hope we're thinking about striker because if we get a centre back, a right back, we have a good squad, but we have no striker. It's all going to be for nothing. So it's a bit up in the air, in my opinion. But obviously, thinking that if you think that Harry Kane's going to stay, which is unlikely, but I think we should really prioritise on a right back because our options are very, very bad. With Doherty last night, again, it wasn't great. Aurier leaving, hopefully. So I think we really need a right back. And again, we might get another Serie A player, Tomiyasu.
Yeah. What about
Talk to me about him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, I've seen him quite a lot. My other friend had him in his fantasy football team, and he said that he's a great player. So obviously, I've obviously watched him, but this friend of mine gave me a bit more into him. And yeah, he can play in centre back or right back. He's very consistent. He's not like he doesn't get many assists or goals because he's more of a defensive right back.
Yeah.
But I think he can get the job done in the Premier League because he's always very concentrated. He's very how to say he has a lot of discipline. I don't know if you get what I mean. Like he's very humble and he just gets the job done. I think that's the player we need.
But in terms of going into the season, let's say Aurier ships out the door and Tomiyasu and Doherty are the 2 right backs going into the season. Is that good enough?
No, I don't think so. Because Aurier, we all know Aurier. I don't know if you saw some pictures of him this summer playing football with a Man United kit. Like,
I saw that. Yeah.
So, I mean, the guy, we know him. He's a funny guy in the dressing room. But he's not a professional footballer, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And Doherty, I mean, I would give him a second chance because I don't think we're going to get any more than 5 million for him now. So we might as well keep him. Nuno knows him well. If we get another right back and we have Doherty, obviously it's just 2 players. So if one gets injured, we're a bit in a mess. But I think it's better than having Aurier. So I would definitely get another right back and keep Doherty.
I don't know why we're not linked with Dumfries. I mean, he had an excellent Euros. He's had an excellent couple of seasons. Nobody seems to be linked with him this summer. I mean, we should be going for Dumfries.
Yeah, it's weird, but if you think about it, we're not even getting linked to, like, we were linked with right backs last year, Max Aarons and another few right backs. This year, nothing at all apart from Tomiyasu. He's not like a proper right back. He's more of a centre back right back. So I don't know. It's an odd one. And I heard you speaking about Paratici. Oh, actually, you should call him Paratici, not Paratici. But
Okay, Paratici.
Paratici, yeah.
Okay,
But,
okay.
Yeah, you were talking about him and how he should get players out if he thinks they're not at the top of his game, like Doherty.
Yeah.
But one of the things he got very criticised by Juve fans in the past years has actually been the fact that he hadn't got rid of some deadwood in the club. So that's a bit of a downside for him, because Juve had a lot of players that most fans wanted to get out the door and he just couldn't. So that's not promising.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not doing such a bad job of it at the moment, isn't he? I mean, Lamella's out the door, Toby's out the door now. It looks as though Sissoko and Aurier could be next. I mean, there's even rumours about Ben Davis also leaving the club in the past 24 hours. So it doesn't seem he's doing that bad in that sense, does it?
Yeah, not too bad. But for me, the three that had to go from the get-go were Sergio Aurier, Sanchez, and Sissoko. So I want to see at least one of them go.
Yeah,
I mean, sorry.
There's also been rumours about Winks as well.
Yeah, Winks as well. I mean, I'm a Winks fan like Sim, so I would give him another chance. But I would understand the other fans that they don't want to give him another chance. But that's just my opinion anyway.
In terms of Winks, do you think that Skip is ahead of him in the pecking order, or do you think that Skip will probably benefit from another year out on loan to a Premier League side?
I would keep Skip. I really like him. I mean, even last night he got a few passes wrong, a few touches wrong, but I think it's normal. He only had one season playing consistent football. He's what, 20? 21? I don't know.
20, I
20.
think.
Yeah, so I think we have to give him time. We gave Winks a shot when he was the same age, so I don't understand why we shouldn't do the same with Skip. And the fact that him staying at Spurs has something to do with Sissoko leaving, I just don't get it. Like, Sissoko, I think in the order is in the midfield Højbjerg, Lo Celso, Ndombele. Dele Alli wouldn't consider him a midfielder, so I think the fourth in that order is Skip. And if we're playing three midfielders, to be a fourth choice when Ndombele never has 90 minutes in him, Gio is injury prone. I think if he stays, he could get a lot of minutes.
Yeah, I agree.
I think at that age, I mean, Skip is miles ahead of what Winks was at that age, isn't he?
Yeah. He is better, I think, than what Winks was. I think at 21. Well, how old was Winks when we played against Madrid? He's 25 now, so
I think he was around 20, around the same age.
Yeah, so I think at the moment, I think Skip's probably ahead, but maybe not as much ahead as we think.
Yeah, maybe.
But I think, what's your opinion, Eden, on the prospective loan deal for Tanganga? Do you think it's a good deal for him potentially going Galatasaray, or do you think we should keep him, or do you think we should wait for another team to come in for him?
I mean, the fact that the club said that he can go, I think eventually will. Maybe they'll wait until the end of the window that we get another centre-back in. But I think he'll go. Honestly, I would keep him around because we have this Conference League where I think the young players should get minutes. And the Turkish League isn't the best quality-wise, and it's also very tough, and he's very injury-prone, so I don't want to see him get injured there. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a loan experience. Galatasaray they're a top club in Turkey. I don't think it's the best environment for him because it's a bit toxic there with fans. I don't know. I don't think it's the best.
It could build him up a little bit, mentally as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, if he's up for it, I think he should go. But if he has doubts, I would keep him, honestly, because I think he's decent. He's young as well, and I think if he gets minutes, he might get some this season. He played most of the preseason, so I don't think Nuno has problems with him. I would keep him, honestly.
I want to get your opinions on this, Eden. There's been another update from Fabrizio Romano via Sportskida, and he says Harry Kane believes the current story has been exaggerated by the media. I mean, what do you feel about that? Do you feel the media is exaggerating it, or what's your opinions on it?
Well, first of all, I think the media are always going to talk about anything that comes out of the story.
Yeah.
And second of all, I don't think they're exaggerating because the England captain not turning up for training is obviously horrible. And I'm so disappointed. For me, Kane has always been a role model, not only as a player but as a person, and let me down big time. So yeah, if you ask me how this whole thing is going to end, I can't see it getting better with the fans because I'm not one of those who's going to say, "Oh, Kane, you're a traitor," because at the end of the day, it's clear that he wants to move. But in my opinion, there's different ways he could have gone with it, and not showing up to training is just the worst thing he could have done. And it's really out of his character because if you would have asked me before this all happened, what you think Harry Kane would do, is he would get to the training ground, train, get to know Nuno, and then after training is over, you go to Daniel Levy.
Oh, where's he gone?
Oh, he's just gone.
I think I don't know what happened there, but he's disconnected. But if you come back on, we'll get you back on for the final few comments. Eden, is there anyone else waiting?
Let's look at some tweets. We've got some tweets coming through.
Okay.
So let's take a look at some of these tweets that people have been sending in. Alfie Spencer says, Dele is way too inconsistent to be playing a big role in this season. In my opinion, this should be his last season to prove what he's capable of, and if he does not perform, it's time to sell. Do you believe that is it already time to sell for Dele Alli, or do you think he should be, after his one season, is his last chance?
I think this is last chance for Saloon for him this season. This season coming up is last chance Saloon. I mean,
if we got a good offer for him this summer, would you take it?
What's a good offer?
50 million?
Oof. Depends who. Like, I wouldn't like to see him go to a Premier League rival, though. That's the thing. If a top four side, Man City, Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea come in for him, I wouldn't like to see him sold there. But if it was like a top team abroad, then I might accept that.
You'd accept it?
Maybe. Maybe I don't know. It's a difficult one because I still love Dele Alli so much, but obviously, if you're not going to do it on the pitch, then there's no point keeping you. And he hasn't done it on the pitch for the last 2-3 years. So, I think last chance saloon for him this season, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think at the moment, I know we're not going to get the money for him anyway. I think if we did get a good offer, I think between 45 and 50, I actually think I would sell. I think I would sell because I do.
Anyone?
Yeah. I tell you why. I just don't think if we're going to pay full free, I don't think he's a natural fit for that. And I think I don't know if he's a natural fit for what Nuno wants to do. And I think
it gives
right
us
now
tactical flexibility.
It does, but I just feel like he's shoehorning him in a bit because he's such a good player. He needs to get him in, and I feel like he's not unless he adapts his game a lot, Dele. I think we're better off getting the money and getting a proper player who fits the system than having Dele Alli as part of the team. That's how I just feel right now. But if he can redevelop Dele Alli in a different way, then maybe it could be positive. Let's get Eden on. We'll finish his thoughts on Harry Kane.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No problem, Eden.
Yeah, what I was saying, if you would have asked me what Kane would have done, it was go to Levy and have a chat. Even if he says he has this gentleman's agreement, you just get to the training ground and talk about it. You just don't vanish. And I just think even his agent, who is his brother, is not helping the situation because he's not a professional. So it's just a mess, in my opinion. And in an ideal world, Kane would come back, hug Levy, say I'm staying, but that's just not going to happen. So yeah.
Yeah, it's do you feel like he's obviously he's being disrespectful, people say, to the club and stuff, but how do you feel like Nuno's feeling right now with coming into Tottenham and his star player is currently not coming up to training and before he's even started the job? How do you think Nuno feels about it?
Yeah, I think he's getting the worst part of it because I think he feels. I mean, it's not just the fact that his best player in the squad is missing training, but I think that he must know that all this situation is not good for the dressing room, the fans, and I think that's his biggest preoccupation. But I think he's a clever guy. He's gonna make the best of this situation, and I hope he does. And I saw last night his interview. He always looks smiling, concentrated on on the daily game or the daily training, and I think that's the kind of guy we need right now. So I'm happy with him.
All right, Eden. Good to speak to you,
Eden,
mate.
Big up yourself, man. Big up
Are you going
yourself.
to the Arsenal game on Sunday?
I think one of us may be going. And one of us will be staying here for the watch along. So,
Cool.
yeah, we'll hopefully bring you some content from there. That's for sure.
Okay, lads.
And
See you soon,
and no
okay?
matter what they're calling this game, it is not a friendly. There's never a friendly against
No.
the Gooners.
Absolutely not. I mean, yesterday we showed a good spirit against Chelsea, so I think we're going to do even better with the fans. I think we're gonna have a good game. Come on, you Spurs.
All right, big up yourself, Eden. Big
Bye,
up
lads.
Nice
yourself.
one, Eden.
Cheers, mate.
Bye.
See you soon.
No one waiting, is there, Jake?
If anyone does want to come on, the link is in the community section.
Yeah.
So you can join us and have your say on anything Tottenham related. Should we carry on reading through some tweets then?
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah, go
Yeah.
for it. We'll go through the tweets, and if no one else comes on by then we will end the show, I guess.
Tottenham Tom 1882 Hotspur says, with regards to Romero, wasn't it the case of the first part was medical in Italy and the second over in England? That was my understanding, but I could be wrong. I remember seeing a couple of reports, but thankfully either way he'll be our player. Nice to see you both happy. I believe it seems as though both parts are being done in Italy, and he's flying over he's flying over today apparently to London to complete the deal. Maybe there's also another part of the medical being done in London, but from what I've read,
From my understanding, he's taking his second part of his medical this morning, and then he's
In
flying
Italy,
to
yeah.
London this evening.
to maybe just sign the contract and everything. So
And as well, Matt Law has said that he could be unveiled on Sunday in front of Arsenal.
well, Romano also said, or Tom 1882 has tagged us in a tweet saying I was right because he says Romano said that Romero successfully completed the first part of his medical in Italy. He's flying to London today to complete the second part of his medical. Oh, whatever. Either way, he's going to complete the medical.
Yeah. Either way, the medical's getting done today. Doesn't really matter when or where it's getting done.
Exactly. Twitch aggro _TV says, I really think we need a right back because Doherty isn't good enough. I don't know why we are not trying to sign Dumfries or Baku, as they would be perfect. And we know Nuno likes three at the back with wing backs, and they would fit in perfectly. Also, we need at least another centre back. Well, it looks like Nuno is going to be playing four at the back this year. So
That's what it looks like.
that's what it looks like at the moment. It could always subject to change. I do feel like if we are going to play two up top, it's going to be difficult to keep four at the back in that scenario. But right now, I think the 4-3 is the formation he's going with. Sarang Thus says, don't know what to say, but Dele has surely forgotten his football. He gets confused with which peg should he dribble the ball that to in crucial moments. He was a baller once, and don't know, maybe he has not been able to handle the pressure / expectations. Yeah, I don't know what the exact problem is with Dele Alli, but obviously we know his standards and form have dropped off dramatically. I feel like maybe a lot of it got to his head being a superstar in the Premier League, and he just let his standards drop, and he didn't feel the need like maybe someone like Harry Kane did to continually try and improve and stuff like that and always better himself. And maybe he just got content with being a teenage superstar or a young superstar, and thought he had made it without thinking he has to keep up his standards. And now it's been a few years now, and hopefully we can recapture that form at some point.
Yeah, it's got to be last chance saloon this season, though.
Yeah,
I
I
can't
think so.
see if he has another bad season. I can't see us keeping him. Even if he has a bad first half of the season, he could be even going in January, to be fair.
Brendan says, it's Hoiberg's birthday. You should wish him a happy birthday today.
Happy birthday to the Le General.
Massive
Pierre
happy birthday
Emil
to Pierre
Højbjerg.
Emil
Massive
Højbjerg.
happy birthday to you, my friend. I wish he was my friend.
THFC Fridge OL says, sell Kane. I don't want a player that doesn't want to be here. Obviously 100 million plus Laporte is the ideal situation. Use the 100 million on Martinez and Dumfries, or if Martinez isn't available, we can get another proven quality striker.
Completely agree.
Well, they don't grow on trees though, do they, these proven quality strikers? They're hard to come by.
No, they are hard to come by. But if we can get a Lautaro Martinez over the line for like 70 million and then use the change to get a Dumfries. I mean, that would be just the ideal situation.
Or but if Kane stays this season, he agrees a deal in January to sign for City for next season for 100 million, and then his last game, FA Cup final, scores the winner, and then leaves.
I mean, that's romance right there. I mean,
would you rather that or take 160 million this summer?
I'd rather that. FA Cup, 100 million, still
Lose
get
out
Martinez
60
for 70 million. You get Dumfries for 30 million.
I can see it. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if he stayed and then agreed a deal in January or something to end next season. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the situation that happened. Tom 8082 Hotspur again says 100% Ben. Why does Kane need help? He is the one in the wrong. Seeing at home, holiday, still pocketing 200 grand a week. Why are people sticking up for him? He is the person in the wrong. Levy is many things, but Kane is being disrespectful.
And that's pretty much what I was saying before.
I think from our point of view, from a Spurs fan's point of view, we're obviously not happy. I'm saying
from a general point of view, like from a completely in the middle impartial point of view. That's what I'm trying to look at it like.
Yeah, but I'm seeing you also got to see Kane's point of view.
Yeah.
And I think he's trying to do what's best for his career.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously he's in the wrong. I'm not saying he's in the wrong, but sometimes you have to be in the wrong to get what you want.
Yeah, but I don't even think that this is one of those cases. Because,
I know.
Because the way...
Yeah, but that's an opinion. But I'm just saying that's what he might. It's probably what he thinks.
It's probably not even what he's saying. It's what his idiot brother thinks. You know what I mean?
I think his brother's trying to advise him the best way to get a move.
Yeah, but...
Look, Kane's his own man. I don't like this. Oh, it's all Charlie Kane. It's all Charlie. Kane is his own man. I'm sure if he disagreed with something his brother said, he wouldn't do it.
Kane is his own man, but at the end of the day, the majority of these footballers let their agents run their career.
Yeah, but his agent's his brother. His agent's his brother.
Yeah.
It's different. I'm pretty sure if he disagreed with something his brother said, he would say, I'm not doing that. Clearly he doesn't mind doing it. Yeah. I don't think it's like if you've got a super agent in charge of you, it's a bit different because you can't like this is a guy who's kind of he's your agent, but he's not family, so it's not like it's more difficult to go against him because you fully trust that he's the guy to get what you want. Interests. Yeah, but when it's your brother, it's like I think you would happily tell him to like what you think in that sense when it comes to these kind of things, and you would tell him if you're not comfortable doing what he said, what he thinks is the right thing to get the move, then you wouldn't do it. So I think Charlie Kane is coming under criticism, but I don't see the point in it. I don't see the reason for that. He's just his agent. That's all it is. I think Kane's decision at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think it's a joint decision. I don't think it's all Harry Kane. I don't think it's all Charlie Kane. I think they're both culpable, to be honest. But you never know the facts. Nobody knows the facts behind the stories.
Jeff B says, guys, why aren't we making a bid for Lukaku? He wouldn't. A number of reasons. 120 million reasons, I think.
Not even just that. Lukaku, even if we were to offer him 500 grand a week, probably wouldn't consider coming.
He ain't coming to Spurs. I can guarantee you that, unfortunately. So we can get that. Out of the window. Defoe Stereo says, what top quality striker should we bring in to replace Kane? It used to be a section we had plenty of depth in for a few seasons. We've really struggled in quality,
bring
in
back
depth.
Defoe.
Keep up the good work. Yeah, when clearly by the the era you're referring to, Keane, Defoe, Berbatov, Mido, these were the days. Yeah. These are the days of quality depth in striking positions. Long gone are those days. It's pretty much been Harry Kane for like 5 years in a row now on his own. So who do I want? I mean, it's so difficult. I want Martinez, but I honestly, if Lukaku leaves, I highly doubt he's gettable. So apart from Martinez, who am I thinking of? Who?
Vlahovic is the number one target apparently. So
yeah, Vlahovic is there, but we need more than Vlahovic, don't we? He's not a replacement for Kane. He's someone to supplement Kane. That's how I feel with Vlahovic.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Because I think, I was chatting last night with a friend and he was saying that he feels like that with Martinez. Like Martinez needs to play alongside a player like a Vlahovic, like a Kane, like a Lukaku to really get the best out of him. And Vlahovic is more of like a target man, isn't he?
A mobile target man.
A mobile target man, but he's a guy that can get the ball up there, hold the ball up, bring others into play, and also finish the ball as well. When Lautaro Martinez is more of like a quick, pacey winger that plays off a big man. Not winger, sorry, a pacey striker that plays off a big man.
He can do that role, but him and Lukaku, I think Lukaku was more of the poacher than Martinez was.
Right.
I think Martinez was more the guy doing the stuff in and around the box, and Lukaku was the one finishing it most of the time. So, I mean, I don't know what we discussing. That Vlahovic should be.
You said Vlahovic needs to be with a Harry Kane, not instead of a Harry Kane.
Not necessarily playing with him. Just, I mean, supplement a striker of Kane's quality or a better striker. I think Vlahovic needs someone with a bit more experience with him to either compete with him or play alongside him, basically, is what I'm saying. I wouldn't want Vlahovic to replace Kane. I would want either Vlahovic with Kane, or we sign Vlahovic plus another big striker for more money than we're going to sign Vlahovic for. That's the question.
Apart from Lautaro Martinez, I mean...
Yeah, it's difficult. It's very, very difficult.
Diamond Dane, just throw him in there.
Dane Scarlett.
And yes, as DJ Green Alert does say, Son is there too, and I feel like he could be used more as a striker this season than a winger. Yeah,
especially if we do get down. I've said this consistently. If we sell Kane, I would not be surprised whatsoever if we move Son up front. I would not be shocked in the slightest if we decide to spend big on a winger, because there's more of them available and easier to get, and just move Son up front and think that's good enough. Yeah. I said that consistently, that I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, and I stand by that. It
seems as though that's what we're gearing up to, with Damsgaard coming in, with Brian Hill coming in, and a Vlahovic coming in. Maybe they're going for Son and Vlahovic up front next season. Those are the two options.
That wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
No, it wouldn't be.
But then you need to make sure you've got the wide forwards correct, and you've got them of the required standard. At the moment, you've got Gil and Bergwijn there. Is that good enough to supplement what we're losing? I don't know. Mirror Football says Philip Coutinho's agent in contact with Tottenham as Harry Kane's transfer replacement. That's from the Daily Mirror. Not the most reliable source. We spoke about Coutinho the other day. It wasn't from the Daily Mirror, it was from reports in Spain. But they're starting to report it now, unless they're quoting reports in Spain, which I wouldn't be surprised, to be fair. According to reports in Spain. Okay, there you go. Classic Daily Mirror. But what Coutinho, is that one that you would, if we were to sell Kane, move Son up front, and have Coutinho out on the left? Is that something?
I don't think we'd be looking to bring Coutinho in. I think it's just all rubbish paper talk. I think that would that
be something you'd accept? Coutinho on the left, Son up front, and a right winger?
We're not going to sign Coutinho.
But is that something you would accept, I'm asking?
I don't know, man. I think it's a massive risk signing Coutinho. He's a good player. Obviously, he's a good player, but I think that we're looking to bring in more like younger, up-and-coming players as opposed to like older players that haven't been that great for the past couple of years. You know what I mean? So I can't see this happening. Would I accept it? I mean, I'd probably get excited at the time bringing in a player like Phil Coutinho, but I just can't see it happening, to be fair. I just can't see it happening,
if he's like
with the wages he's on. You know,
if he's like a big statement deadline day signing, would that get you?
What, like a Rafa van der Vaart signing?
Yeah.
Look, it would get me excited, but I just don't know if it would work.
Yeah, I just feel like we would probably announce it as if it's like Kane replaced an S-level signing. Like, look at this player we've got. We're going to get a superstar, and then I think it would maybe.
If it gets to the last day of the window and we're selling Kane and we're bringing in Coutinho, I'll be depressed.
Our man says, as a Dane, I rate Damsgaard very highly, but I agree that we really don't need him. I don't think he'll be get much playing time week in, week out, so it's kind of a wasted talent. Gil is already in, so I'm excited to see him.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we were saying, pretty much.
Yeah, agreed. Apparently, is Bob Spur in the background, Jake? No. Oh, he says he's there in the comment. He said he's backstage. Maybe you have to let him in or something. Let's keep going on the tweets. How much can we get for Aurier realistically? 20 million or 15 million, says Toby
I think
Pike.
15 million tops, at the absolute tops.
I don't even think that. I think between 10 and 12. I don't think we'll get any more than that. Unfortunately, because of 1 year left, I think that's the price.
Yeah, I think at the very, very most, about 15 million in my opinion.
Would you rather sign Madueke or Damsgaard?
See, this is an interesting one, and I would actually go for Madueke. I think Madueke obviously knows the club very well, coming through the youth academy here at Tottenham. He's come on leaps and bounds since leaving us. I think he's had a brilliant year last year. He started off the season on fire this year. He would be a homegrown player. So yeah, I think I would rather sign him.
Yeah, that's what I said actually when someone asked yesterday. I said Madueke as well, just because cheaper price, 19 years of age, English. I think he plays a more position on the right hand side that is more of needed than on the left, considering Khil's already through the door. So I think he's one who fits what we need more than Damsgaard right now. Because if we're signing Damsgaard, it's like 40 million for a position we don't particularly need. Whereas Madueke, maybe he's not as good right now anyway, but he's lesser risk for a position we more need. So that's why I'd rather him. Nicholas Michael, England and Spurs legend refuses to come to training. Nuno never spoke to him. What would you do if you were in Nuno's place? From Nuno's point of view, I think it's difficult at the moment, but he's just got to have a free, honest conversation with him when he gets the opportunity. And then
Can Nuno not just pick up the phone and speak to him on the phone? I don't understand.
I think these things need to be done face to face. When it comes to Nuno, but I think Nuno has got to just deal the hand he's dealt. Unfortunately, he hasn't had Kane as manager him, so he can't really think in the way that he's losing something that he never had in a way if he does lose Kane. So he can't think in that mindset. But he's just got these problems. He's walked into this problem. This isn't something that's happened while Nuno's been here or anything. He's walked into it, and these problems have been there. So he can't think he can come in and solve them. Basically, is what I'm saying. And I don't think he can come in and think he can talk Kane round or anything. He's got to be able to understand where Kane's coming from and just try and deal with the situation in that sense.
And get the deal done then, basically, is what you're saying.
I'm not saying get the deal done. I just think put his position across, but not try and feel like Kane's disrespecting him and stuff like that. Got to understand that this situation predates him coming here, and it's not about him, basically, what's going on.
Yeah. We got a super chat here from Will L saying, do Damsgaard and Vlahovic get around the homegrown rule due to their ages? Maybe that's why Spurs are after them this summer. Do not use a homegrown spot.
Was it? You have to be under 20, don't you? I'm not 100% sure. I don't know about Damsgaard. I don't know about Vlahovic, sorry, but Damsgaard potentially, because he's 20. I think Vlahovic.
It's 21, isn't it? The rule.
I can't remember anymore. I don't know if they changed it. Have they changed it to 20 or is it still 21? I can't remember anymore. I need to start playing FM again. I think. I don't know about Vlahovic. I don't know if he. I'm not sure if he skirts it. I think Damsgaard might though. THFC Fridge says, I don't think someone like Vlahovic isn't suitable for Tottenham. I'd also want a forward like Dries Mertens who can score goals and create them. Obviously, he's probably not for sale, but a player like him would suit Tottenham to assist Son and others. Dries Mertens probably is available, to be fair. I think we probably could get him if we really want to. Yeah, I know, he's 32, 33.
Yeah, I thought he was like 33, 34. For me, Mertens, nah.
Like, yeah, I don't think Mertens is not an issue of him us being able to get him. We could probably get him if we wanted to. I just think he's not a player that he's probably not a player we should be that interested in when we're looking to revamp the squad. He's a player who's again we're going to need to sell in a year's time.
It's tough. These strikers are tough to come by. You're talking about a striker like Tammy Abraham costing £40 million. Like that to me is mental. Tammy Abraham, £40 million. He's nowhere near the England squad. It's mad.
Yeah, but you think with Tammy Abraham, he's 23 years of age, so he's a young English striker, and he did bang 15 goals a couple of seasons ago in the Premier League. So maybe Chelsea think if he could potentially get you between 15 and 20 goals if you signed him, and he's young, so he's got a bit of longevity. So 40 million actually is not that outrageous. 40 million euros, by the way, not pounds. So it's like 35 million.
I just don't think he has the required quality to be a top striker. I really don't.
I reckon Tammy Abraham, if you stick him in a decent team as your main striker, he could bank you 15 goals a season.
Yeah, maybe.
I think he could.
I think let's say if he was to come and lead the line for Tottenham week in,
I wouldn't
week
want
out,
that.
I mean, we would say he's not good enough.
Probably.
Yeah.
But it's similar to say Darren Bent's not good enough.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Darren
Yeah,
Bent.
no, I'd agree with that.
You know
I'd put
what I
them
mean?
on a very similar level.
Yeah, Darren Bent can bang in goals. Doesn't
Yeah.
mean he's good enough.
Yeah,
But
I agree with that.
Same with Tammy Abraham.
I would say Tammy
still-
Abraham probably is the modern day Darren Bent,
But
isn't
still doesn't mean Bent wasn't worth money to these clubs because those goals, it's they're worth the money for some,
he? Yeah,
for some
I
teams.
mean, I think that when
For
you're looking at Tammy Abraham, you got to look at 7th or below in the Premier League for me.
Yeah, I think it could be a good signing for
Southampton.
Southampton would be perfect.
Yeah.
Or
I'd agree with that. I'd agree with that. But when I'm looking at him going to a team higher up than that. 7th or above, not 7th or below.
I don't think they're interested in him.
Yeah,
Um,
because he's rumored he's going to Atalanta, going back to the Champions League.
yeah,
so
but he could be a decent replacement for Zapata.
maybe. I think Zapata's
who's-
3-4 times the player that Tammy Abraham is.
You think so?
I think so.
I don't think he's that much better than him.
Do you not?
3 times the player Abraham is.
Okay, maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but maybe he's definitely a better player, though. That's for sure.
I think he's better, but I don't think there's that much difference in them. I think he's a better player, yeah, but I don't. In considering Zapata's 30 years of age, I don't think in terms of price that would be that much difference. I really don't. What is his publication? Simon Bajkowski's from the Manchester Evening News. He says Harry
Bajkowski, isn't he that winger, that Hungarian winger?
Bajkowski. He says Harry Kane remains firmly in Man City's sides, although it is accepted that it may take until the final days or hours of the window before an agreement can be reached for the striker. Oh, so we're in for a long summer.
I mean, we knew that already, though, didn't we?
We did. All right, let's get Bob Spur on. He's in the background. He's waiting to join us.
Big up, Bob Spur. Come on, mate.
Come on.
How's it going? We are the Bob Spur TV army. That's it.
Yeah. I've got half an hour away from. I'm working from home today, so. I'm,
Okay.
He's done all right. He's all right.
Don't say that while you're live on YouTube in front of your bosses.
They know, mate. They know. So it's all good. Yeah. Believe it or not, just the Kane thing. How long do you guys give it till some form of clarity, confirmation comes out? Either the Kane camp or the Spurs camp, because the rebuild's on standstill. In my eyes, we can't do a proper rebuild till we'll know.
Look, Bob, there's two ways. I mean, there's the stuff that the fans know, and there's the stuff that they know with inside the club. And I think personally, they've got a very good idea with inside the club what's going on right now. I mean, you look at what happened with Aston Villa and Southampton just now. I mean, nobody saw this Danny Ings to Aston Villa move at all. But Aston Villa had already started signing. Using the money with Leon Bailey and a few other players that they've brought in. So I think that is the way to do it. I think they did it to a T. They've done it perfectly. Everything under the radar. And that's the way you got to do it. I think you've got to spend the money and then you've got to sell the player in terms of the open eye. Because if you sell Harry Kane first, other clubs can hold you to ransom.
Yeah. How much of... I'm being naive here, but is there any duty to the fans? Do you reckon there should be some form of clarity to the fans? Because at the moment, mate, it is borderline toxic, isn't it? With people slating Kane, defending Kane, trying to show that it is Enoch and Levy the reason why we're here in the first place, defending his actions, think his actions are out of order. As Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, your fans are supposedly the most important people in there, and I'm sure they are. do you not think that there's a duty to the fans as well, or is that just me being totally naive?
I think you are being. I think you are being naive a bit. I really do. I think that you have to act within what the best interests are for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, and the best interest for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club is to do this rebuild around the Harry Kane money and to get the best deals from around Europe of what we can get and bring in the best players that we can get. And I think the best chance of us doing that is to do it before Harry Kane leaves, so we can't get held to ransom by other clubs. And that's my honest opinion.
It's a shame, isn't it? It's just such a shame, because since the end of last season, mate, it's just been nothing but guesswork, and it's just been so. I don't know. It's just been. I mean, yesterday's game, second half, mate, was probably the best thing we've seen since. I don't know when.
Against Chelsea C team, Chelsea C team.
Yeah. Well, I don't care, mate. I'd put some of my mates texting me when they were 2-0 up, going, yeah, giving it all large, and when it went to 2-2. I said nothing. I've not said anything since, and they're a bit worried. I just get they know. But I thought the second half we were brilliant, and it's just a shame. Like I say, since the end of last season, since the sacking of Jose, my thoughts on Jose. But when it was announced, it was a bit. Since then, it's just been constant, guesswork and what's happening and speculation. I don't think we've ever had anything that's concrete, and there's no sort of form of clarification. That's unfortunate. So, but it's a wait and see game. I just hope he stays. I really do. I don't condone his actions. I think what he's done is out of order. But mate, is unfortunate. He is our best player, and we want our best player to stay. Do you
hear what Nuno had to say on the situation? Obviously, he couldn't give too much away, but he was saying how he has to deal with this internally and he doesn't want to create a public argument and stuff like that. How do you reckon Nuno deals with this situation when he gets his first conversation with Kane at the end of the week?
He is the managerial coach, but it's out of his hands, isn't it, Sim? Unfortunately, if he wants, I do believe if he goes up to Levy and says, "I want Harry Kane to stay," I don't think it will matter. I don't think it will matter if there's a part of me that says that if Man City do come in with 160 plus, we're probably better off selling him and give him his wishes. But in an ideal situation, they don't. He ends up staying, and he will give us his 100%. Unfortunately, by his actions, there'll always be that finger pointing at him, saying you're not 100%, mate, because you never turned up for training. There'll always be that element of fan base. Will always point that finger at him. Has allowed his character to be questioned, which is unfortunate. It'll never be questioned by me, but there will be a large, because he will have if he stays, he will have a bad game. He will go a couple of games without scoring, and that's when all this will rise up again. And that's an unfortunate thing against one of the best players I've ever seen put on a Tottenham shirt, and I've supported him for 40 odd years. So,
is there a possibility of Kane ever being booed at the stadium?
Of course, mate. Yeah, we know that, Sim. Our fans are fickle. They'll boo him probably on the first game when he comes on as a sub. Of course they will, especially if we're 2-0 down or something like that. But if he starts banging in the goals, he'll be the legend that he is. So fans are fickle, of course, mate. And if we're doing shit in the league, there'll be either, and he's not playing, there'll be even more anger towards him. And if he ends up staying, first game he comes on as a sub, or he starts, mate. Of course they'll be booing, but it'll change just as quickly as it is, because we are fickle. I'll never boo him. I'll never boo Harry Kane. I'll stand by the fact that I think his actions were totally out of order. He shouldn't have done it. But the finger should be pointing at Levy and Enoch, and I'll always say that. And it's surprising and frustrating how some of the fan base can't differentiate between the two. You can have a problem with Kane not turning up, but the main issue why we've got here in the first place is because of I keep calling him Lenik. I think we need to call him Lenik. So yeah, Lenik.
Yeah, look, I think Bob, you are absolutely spot on in saying, look, because I agree with you. I would never boo Harry Kane. I just can't do it, and what he's done does not sit right with me whatsoever. And I do feel a bit betrayed by Harry Kane in terms of us as a fan base who's given him so much, and yes, he's also given us so much back, which has got to be said as well. But You say you want Harry Kane to stay, but is it not just delaying the inevitable of him leaving next summer? And if we can get a better deal this summer than next summer, would you not rather just, hurry up the process and get the players in? Because, with the money touted about of him going this summer, and if we do spend that money in the right way, with Fabio Paratici at the wheel and whatever, if we do spend that money in the right way, is it not worth just getting rid this summer and getting the rebuild done?
Yeah, of course. There's two ways of looking at it, isn't there, Ben? If you keep Harry Kane and we bring in a couple of good players, hopefully defenders, and the quality that we've already got in Son, Højbjerg, Lucas, the way he's playing, although we could talk about the first goal yesterday. Bergwijn hopefully kicking on. We've got a side that honestly I think will challenge for the top four. Same could be said if we sell him. There's more chances of getting quality players in. And again, get the right personnel. I believe we'll challenge for the top four. I still think we'll challenge for the top four if we get the right personnel in. And that's an obvious statement to make. But I am. A lot of people are saying, and understandably, that give Harry Kane one more year and then sell him. No, mate, we're a big club. You play for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. You got 3 years on the contract. I think by saying Harry Kane, give us one more year, then you can go. It's basically saying, give us one more year, we'll be in the same situation after a year, then you're free to go. No. I think the conversation should be, stay with us, we're going to improve, let us prove to you that we are a big team and we will be challenging for honours. And by the end of the season, it's you who's going to be turning around and say, you know what, I can see something happening here, I'm going to see it out. By saying that you can go after a year is kind of basically, saying that we'll be in the same situation, mate, you can do as you wish. Whereas I think we need to aim high. We need to be bringing these players in an ideal world, regardless of Kane going over. Halovic needs to come in. We need another centre-back first, I believe. Putting Romero alongside Dyer kind of makes it all irrelevant, especially with Dyer. Dyer went to the floor in the first 10 minutes yesterday than Ledley King did in his entire career. It was unbelievable, the way he was getting twisted.
What about Romero alongside a Rodent?
Yeah, that would be better. It looks like he's going as a back four, isn't he, mate?
Yeah, it looks like
a lot of people were thinking. Yeah, I was one of the people who thought he'd be going with a 3, but it does look like he's a 4. The only thing that worries me, I know Rodon's the older out of the two. It's the lack of experience in the Premier League. I do think, mate, I was all against Cody. I didn't think Cody would be a good fit, but the more you think about him, Dave had this discussion yesterday. Mate, it'd be ideal alongside a Romero with that. There'd be 2 Tigers, 2 loudmouths, 2 Vidiches in a way. The more I think about it, I wouldn't mind a Cody alongside a Romero. That'd be a tough wall to crack down, really. But yeah, Rodon would be a good shout. It's just the inexperience within the Premier League, inexperience in age, and probably the inexperience within the Premier League, because Rodon hasn't had that many games. But yeah, I'd choose a Rodon over a Dyer or Sanchez any day.
Big up yourself, Bob. Anything else you want to talk about before we let you go?
Just one thing. Ndombele. Everyone knows, or some people know, that I love him. I think, and I've always said, if he gets his mind right, he gets his belly right, he can be the best midfielder in the world. I think he can piss all over Paul Pogba. I really do. With what he's got, he can become a better player than Paul Pogba, and Paul Pogba's up there. I just worry. He didn't have any Euros. Yes, of course, he had the birth of his child, and I've had 4 mates, so I know how time-consuming that could be. But doesn't it worry you that it takes someone so long to become match fit?
Yeah.
It worries me. I don't know if I want a player who takes 5 weeks, 6 weeks to get match fit, even for a friendly. I find it hard that he couldn't even appear for a friendly for the last 20, 30 minutes. Yeah. He's not fit enough to appear for a few minutes for a friendly. That worries me, and I do believe maybe there's a view to sell him. It doesn't. No, I say that it worries me. I think there's a justification now if there's a view to sell him, because I don't understand it, guys. I don't. He wasn't injured. He came back from into training. We all saw he came back to training when everyone else did. But what, 6 weeks, 5 weeks? and he's not in a position. He's not fit enough to give us 10, 15, 20 minutes. It's surprising, and it does worry me how
hasn't even been on the bench, Bob, has he?
That's it, mate. Yeah, and I want him. I think I want him to be a legend. I do believe some of the stuff he does with the football, I've only seen Gaza do, and that's a big accolade. Honestly, the way he controls it and comes out of 3 or 4 players, it worries me, man. I don't know if there's a bigger issue there.
Well, he did have, he had the baby, didn't he? So.
Yeah.
But do you think that's only an excuse for so long?
Yeah, mate. I mean, let's be honest. If he's training up till the baby arrived and he's had 3 or 4 days off, does that really affect you that much? That he can't come back and it's been 2 weeks since he's had the baby. We all know it's different. We don't know what happened or etc. Maybe we are being a bit unfair, but from what we know, I don't know. I find it very, very, very surprising that he's not been included even in the squad, and then expect him to come back against a Man City without playing any friendlies. I don't know.
Yeah, it's unlikely he's going to come back against Man City, isn't it?
That's it. And do we want someone like that who can't? I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not. It's hard to. I'm not questioning his character. Maybe I'm just questioning the fitness levels of this of Ndombele. Maybe
there's definitely something there, Bob. There's definitely something there.
There is, mate.
There's got to be.
There's
yeah, go on. Sorry.
No, I just think it's bigger thing, Sim, than having a. No, I don't say that. There's probably a bigger thing in him. As well as just having a baby.
Yeah,
there's a report here from the Sun. I want to just
Sun.
Yeah, I know it's not a great source, but they I think they're just stating a fact here. But I want to get Bob's reaction to it and maybe Ben's reaction to it as well. It says Harry Kane can force a move to Man City by buying himself out of a contract to Tottenham due to the Webster ruling. Article 17 allows players who sign their contract before the age of 28 to buy themselves out of the deal. If this was attempted, Tottenham would likely cite tortuous interference and inducement. Kane's contract is believed to still have around 40 million on it. That would be the minimum fee that he would have to pay to buy out his own contract. If he was to attempt this, however, it would probably cause an almighty legal battle. There's no indication that he is going to do this or anything like that. But let me ask you, Bob, if he did do this, would this completely change your opinion on Harry Kane?
Yeah.
That would be a line in the sand for you.
Of course it is, mate. Yeah, of course it is. For someone of our own, the king of the lane wants to go to that extent. The Webster rule, I think, came about last night, didn't it? And if he wants to leave if he wants to leave the club, if one of our own wants to leave our club that badly, it'll hurt. Just sell him. If there's any indication he's going to go down that route, I wouldn't even go that far. I'd say, right, you know what, mate? If you want to get away that badly, if you want to break up with us that badly, who are we to stop you? It'd hurt. Of course it would. I'd rather that not come out and us just sell him than the whole palaver. I'd rather be kept underground. I'd rather Harry Kane come in, look, guys, if you don't sell me, I'm going to do the Webster rule and leave you in saying, right, fine, we're going to sell you. For all this to pan out, oh, mate, no. If that happened, of course, it's a player who's desperate, who'd rather give up 40 million of his own money to get.
Well, I assume Man City would pay him for it, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
I mean, I don't think this is an actual possibility, to be honest, because I don't think. I think the Webster
legally
rule,
it is them.
I think legally it is, but I think it's been used once in its since its inception. So it's an unlikely possibility, but they're just I guess they're just flirting out that it's something that could be exercised in should Kane be that desperate to leave, he could technically do it, but I doubt it's anything that's going to happen. It's a scenario, I guess, but you think that would be, if he did that would completely put a permanent stain on his time at Tottenham?
For me personally, it's because if any player does that, not just Harry Kane, but if any player is willing to buy out his own contract to leave a football club, to me it's like you're playing for our football club. You've been here since you're a kid, yet you're so desperate to get away. Is it that much hate? Do you hate the club? No. There's hate's probably too much. It's the desperation to get away from my football club that wouldn't sit right with me. Yeah, of course he'll still be a legend, but it'll probably definitely change my mindset towards Harry Kane. That was so desperate to leave.
Yeah, he would be screwing over Tottenham massively if he did that as well, because we would lose out on about 90 million or 100 million or whatever it is.
That's it, mate.
If he did that. But anyway, I doubt it. I don't think it's anything to seriously consider.
No, I very much doubt it happened. Yeah.
But it's just an interesting possibility. But anyway, Bob, nice to speak to you as always, mate. Always good to see you.
Up.
We'll speak to you in a bit, of course. Looking forward to it. Nice
Piss
one, bro.
Off, Levy.
Piss off.
Everyone go subscribe to Bob Spur TV as well. Absolutely brilliant Spurs content. But I believe we've got one more super chat from Jimmy Jones saying, what about Martial or Andre Silva?
Martial or Andre Silva?
Would you take them?
I actually think Martial is underrated, and I think he hadn't had a good year at Man United last season. But I actually think he's better than people give him credit for, Martial, and he could actually be very effective in the right system. But if we're going to sign, the problem with Martial is, if we're going to sign Martial, are we better off not putting Son up front and then having Martial? I don't know. I feel like maybe Son might be a better option there.
I'm just not. I mean, I was a fan of Martial a good few years ago, but I just think he's just way too inconsistent, to be honest.
Yeah, he is. I think he actually could be an elite finisher, and he's actually very, very cold in front of goal and stuff like that.
But even that is inconsistent.
He's inconsistent in terms of he can quite easily get bullied and stuff out of games, and I think he can go missing a lot of the time if he's not involved in the play. But I think in terms of finishing, in terms of his dribbling ability, very few players are on his level in that sense, and he's got a very good long shot as well. I just feel like signing Martial for big money to replace Kane, I don't think it would be a good replacement for Kane.
Exactly. I completely agree. And in terms of Adrian Silva, I mean, he just signed for Leipzig, so that's not an option.
If he was one of two strikers we signed, I wouldn't be that against it.
Martial?
Yeah.
Martial and Vlahovic? Would you take that?
I mean, that's not the worst in the world. I mean, it's probably underwhelming, but it's not like it's not a disaster, I don't think.
All right, for the last call of the day, let's get Miguel on. Is he driving? We might have to ask you to pull over, Miguel.
I'm waiting at the gym, my guy.
early morning session.
Oh yeah.
Nice one. So what do you want to call in and talk about? Hey, what's your topic of discussion?
The Harry Kane situation, man.
Tell me, what's your thoughts at the moment on everything surrounding Harry Kane? The latest today. What were we talking about? What was the latest today of Harry Kane? Just that he was.
Well, there's talks about him trying to buy out his own contract now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's an actual possibility. But what's your take on the Harry Kane situation now as it currently stands?
Honestly, I don't think it's as black and white as everybody's making it. I feel like everybody's at fault. With Levy, I think he did make the mistake of telling Harry Kane he would allow him to leave with the right price. But I feel like he did as well, because when Harry Kane at the end of the season, when he was kind of, saying goodbye to everybody, giving everybody hugs, saying goodbye to the fans, I feel like Harry Kane is at fault too. And I feel like he's being misguided by his brother, because I do believe that's his agent, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the last person at fault is honestly his agent. I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure he went to talk to City, letting them know, hey, they're going to let him leave at the end of the season. And then Harry Kane as well, going on to the interview with, what was his name?
Sorry,
it's early.
Gary Neville.
For me.
Gary Neville.
With Gary Neville saying that he would talk to Levy to let him leave on 100 mil. So I feel like City was just trying to take advantage of that, knowing that he wants to leave. They don't want to pay the price Levy is asking for. And yeah, I mean, Harry Kane did everything except shake his ass for City to come get him.
Apparently Harry Kane believes that the whole situation is being blown out of proportion by the media. What do you say to that from that assertion? Do you think it's true that the media are taking everything, blowing it up too much, or do you think Kane has a lot to answer for?
I think it's damage control, man. He saw the backlash from the fans. And I mean, the media is kind of blowing it out of proportion, you know. Every time I go on Instagram, Twitter, anything, Sky Sports is coverage 24/7 on Harry Kane.
What were you going to say?
There's a lot of people in the live chat, Miguel, talking about you driving in your car, and they're calling us out for letting this happen on the channel.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I'll hop off the live. I'm sorry, man.
No, I was joking. It's a joke. It's a joke. No, but people are actually talking about it in the live chat.
It's not in my hand. It's on the the navigation holder thing.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. As long as you're not holding.
Everyone just wants you to be safe, Miguel. That's the main thing.
Nobody's really on the road, man. It's a little early here.
I was just laughing about it, so don't worry about that. Mr. M says, "Pull over, you joker."
Nah, there's nobody on the road, man. That's why I decided to hop on, because it's always open road right now.
Yeah.
Who would you like to see come in for Kane if he was to leave? Who would be your target, which you'd be most looking to bring in?
I was hoping Martinez. Doesn't really look like that's going to happen now. Griezmann would be a good option, considering Barcelona want to get rid of him. Who I did want to see was El Tecatito, Jesus Corona, come in. But it seems like the rumors died down last month. I was hoping we would have got rid of either Aurier or Doherty and bring in Jesus Corona.
Yeah, but it seems like at the moment Tomiyasu's the one coming in. It doesn't seem as though any other right backs are in the offing at the moment. But it'll be interesting to see how we spend the Kane money, or how much we do spend of the Kane money, if we are to get that amount of money through the door. It's all up in the air at the moment, isn't it? This whole future. How do you think Nuno plays this, with Kane potentially coming back to training at the end of the week, with him having spoken to Nuno yet as a new manager, and has him coming into the club with his star player refusing to come to training? With your Nuno, how do you deal with the situation?
Honestly, that's the one mistake that Harry Kane did make with not coming to training. He should have came in, talked to the board, talked to Nuno, and let him know what's going on. Like, hey, like I don't want to be here. I was told I was going to be sold at the end of the summer. But honestly, it's gonna be a challenge for Nuno, because how do you approach a situation like that?
It's true. It's a difficult one, is it? Oliver Freeman says, "Don't worry, Miguel is an excellent driver."
Oh yeah, never been pulled over and never been in a car accident, man.
Great to know. Let's keep that record going.
Yeah. What I was kind of upset about is, now that Romero's in, I was hoping we'd either got rid of Sanchez or Dyer, and we'd have kept Toby to partner up with Romero in the center.
Yeah, in terms of Romero, he's likely to come in before the City game, and hopefully he'll be available for that. Who do you think is going to partner him out of Sanchez, Rodon, and Dyer? Who do you think is going to partner Romero right now if we don't sign another centre back?
I want Rodon, man. His performance in the Euros was honestly impressive. I do have a Danish friend which I was watching the Denmark games with, and I told him keep an eye on Rodon. He's a great talent, And by the end of the Euros, he came up to me. He's like, you weren't wrong. Like, he was leading our back line basically the whole Euros.
And then also you got Damsgaard, who's your Danish friend might know as well. Maybe would you like him to come in?
I'd like to see him come in, but I feel like somebody would have to leave because that's going to be a lot of wingers. Even if he plays in the center, we still have Dele Alli, Tanguy and Ndombele, Lo Celso. It's just I don't see how that would work with him coming in and the rest of our squad.
All right. Nice one, Miguel.
Big yourself up, Miguel, bro, and get to your destination
Drive
safely.
safe, my friend.
You guys have a good day, my man.
And to you, man.
Have a good you too, man. See you soon. Thanks for coming on.
Bye-bye.
But I think that is pretty much all we have time for this Good Morning Tottenham. Another big mammoth stream for you guys. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. For the viewers, for the super chats, for the likes, everything. If you're new around here and you do like the content that we're producing for you guys, please do scroll down, smash that like button, smash that subscriber button. And yeah, thank you everyone for joining us. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always,
come on you Spurs.
Spurs.